Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of the Intermission Podcast, the show where two film students discuss classic, iconic, and obscure films from times gone by. We're your hosts, Oscar W. Fitchett.
Robbie Tweedale.
Do you know what? I don't know what's happening with me, Robbie. Each week that's happening, every time I do that intro, I forget the second before I say it. So it's like...
Well, you pull it off brilliantly. I have to say.
I'm glad about that. That's
all right,
nearly 10 years of doing my own YouTube that got approximately 5 views per week. Paid off very well. Anyway, introduction, bits and bobs. First thing we want to say right away, mention it briefly to you before we start recording, Robbie.
Yes.
Robbie, last week we got out of control.
We did, yeah.
We got a bit
irate.
We got a bit lenient with it, really. Not lenient, that's not the word. We got a bit out of control is the perfect word for it. God bless anyone who watched the entirety of our Apocalypse Now episode, which went, by the time I cut the beginning out, it was 2 hours and 58 minutes. Not as long as the Redux cut, so thank God. But,
I still have to sit through a longer version.
Yeah, but we got a bit out of hand. So I've been thinking to myself, what can I cut? Is there anything I can cut from the general thing? Because I don't want to put a timer on how long we speak of things.
Yeah. Because
that would kind of negate the whole purpose of this entire show, is just us two just free flow talking about a film. So I was already thinking about what to cut. I didn't want to cut the Letterboxd reviews because it's too much fun.
Because it's a good laugh.
I mean, too much jungle last week.
Oh yeah.
And also part of me was like, should I cut the trivia out? But I think there's enough interest that comes out of trivia to where it adds a little bit more to discussion, and plus I like learning about stuff like that. So I thought, right, we're cutting spoiler-free talk out now, because my thought process is, if you're watching a podcast anyway, I assume you would have seen it. So
yeah,
that's my thought. That's how I watch things usually anyway. Even if something's spoiler-free, like a review, I always want to watch the film before I see any review of the film anyway. So there's going to be no spoiler.
If you're really up in arms about it, message us. If we get enough messages, we'll probably bring it back, but I can't see people being that fussed.
No, but yeah, go. So if you haven't seen Godfather Part 3, see Godfather Part 3 before you watch this. And in retrospective, we're technically going to be spoiling the whole trilogy as well within this discussion.
Yeah.
As well. So I also want to, I'll say a bit of a thanks as well, because I was thinking about that anyway, but when I talked to our only commenter, Samuel Burt, and he said that and he thought that exact thing as well. So, as well, cool. Just from a viewer's standpoint, thank you very much, Sam. Also, I want to say I want to start doing little shout outs for introductions and little things that I think people should put their attention towards, even though we're not the grandest of community, but better start somewhere at least anyway. My auntie recently has setting up her own hypnotherapy and crystal and craft business independently by herself, called Crystal Chips and Paper. I'm going to leave a link in the description for the Instagram and her Etsy page and the Facebook. So, I just want to throw some support to my auntie who's going forth with an independent business, something that she's passionate about. So go look towards there. Crystal Chips and Paper. Links in the description to check that out.
Yes.
Not film related, but,
enjoyable, obviously.
Doesn't stop me from spreading the love.
Yeah.
God, I'm a bit more with it than last week as well. Last week was an interesting week for me. This one, I'm fine. It's going to be interesting for a different reason. Anyway, speaking of interesting, let's jump into the topic of this episode,
Okay.
which is the 1990 crime drama, The Godfather Part III, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, written by Francis Ford Coppola and Mario Puzo. I guess still technically based off the novel by Mario Puzo, but it's kind of not. The film stars Al Pacino, Diane Keaton, Talia Shire, Andy Garcia, Eli Wallach, Joe Mantegna, Bridget Fonda, George Hamilton, and Sofia Coppola. The plot synopsis of The Godfather Part III, according to IMDb, is in the midst of trying to legitimize his business dealings in New York City and Italy in 1979, aged mafia don Michael Corleone seeks to avow for his sins while taking his nephew Vincent Mancini under his wing. Accolades that the film holds is that it has a 69% on the tomato meter and an audience score of 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, an overall score of 3.4 stars out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. It was nominated for a Directors Guild of America Award for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Motion Pictures, nominated for 7 Golden Globes, including Best Original Song, Best Original Score, Best Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor for Andy Garcia, Best Drama Actor for Al Pacino, Best Director for Francis Ford Coppola, and Best Drama Picture. It was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Original Song, Best Film Editing, Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Director for Francis Ford Coppola, Best Supporting Actor for Andy Garcia, and Best Picture. And also, what's incredibly interesting to me, it was also nominated for 2 Razzie. It won 2 Razzie Awards, including Worst New Star for Sofia Coppola and Worst Supporting Actress for Sofia Coppola. So the film, it was extremely mixed in terms of the awards thing. And especially of the time of 1990. This is my second time seeing this film. This is your first time seeing this film, Robbie. Yeah. I'm just going to jump in and say my point first thing. This is the best film of the Godfather trilogy and my favourite Francis Ford Coppola film. Is a phrase that I would say if I was completely and utterly insane. And I'm baffled at this film, Robbie. I'm genuinely baffled. I'm genuinely baffled. I remember saying to you throughout the Intermission Podcast, saying to you that, you know what, I think it's just boring. And oddly enough, watching this film, I don't think I was bored. I was just, there was a lot of incredibly laughably bad moments in this.
Do you know what?
And I couldn't believe it, Robbie.
I think the pacing's the best.
Oddly enough,
I'm
yes.
not even being funny. I think the pacing's the best of the 3. It's just fucking awful. It baffled me. I couldn't get my head around anything that was going on. There's so much to discuss with this. It's so bad. I couldn't
look, right. Okay, because I was seeing like a bit of a resurgence for The Godfather Part 3. Some people, it's now 30 years since the film's released. It's now a 30-year film.
Right.
So, and I'm seeing a lot of people revisiting this film, and I'm seeing a few people even watching it for the first time, and a lot of people saying, you know what, it's not a masterpiece like the other 2 Godfather films, but you know what, it's not a bad film. It's actually pretty all right. I don't understand it. There's one glaring issue, right? I've noted some good in this film. I've noted some good in my notes. But there's one specific plot point which I don't know how it's passed. I don't understand how a plot point that we're going to discuss is as horrific as it is, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Right, shall we get to it then, Robbie?
Let's get straight into it, yeah.
My first note that I threw out there was I thought about it in the sense of I'm going into this film as if I was seeing it for the first time in 1990 as a fan of the first 2 films. Like, even though I'd already seen the film prior, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'll go into it without any preconceptual thoughts. I'll think, I'll give it a fair shot, as if I would have done if I was 30 years ago, if I was alive then in 1990 and I went to see this film. So I thought I'll give it a good shout. The Godfather theme still got me invested, I will admit. The beginning of the film, it's still a good theme.
Yeah.
Arguably used a bit too many times in this.
Yes. That I would definitely say that, yeah.
And this is the first score composed not with Nino Rota's contribution. This was entirely composed by Carmine Falcone. Not Falcone, that's the Batman. Carmine Coppola. Carmine Coppola, who had a conducting credit in the second film. And of course he also co-composed Apocalypse Now, which we both appreciate that score a lot.
Yeah.
But again, I do think that the Godfather thing was used a bit too many times. Just a bit. A bit. I also noted here, why does the music have hints of a horror movie? In the start, it had the...
I've got a specific note about the music at one specific point, but we'll get to it.
I like how the film continues the theme of opening during a particular occasion.
Yeah.
I like that theme. Because the first film's a wedding, the second film's a funeral. This one is him getting, ordained by the Pope.
He's like getting knighted or something.
It's something to do with the Pope, which, I mean, I think's a bit much. But,
a little bit.
You know what? I like how we still keep with that theme, although I think it is a bit, whatever. And this is another few note. The existence of the film kind of negates the point of loss that was executed in part 2, I think.
Yeah.
Like, the actual, the whole point of the end of part 2 was and now Michael has nothing. And yet we're back in Godfather Part 3 scene, he kind of got on fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what was, apart from the odd time that Michael got sad about Fredo a few times.
Yeah, and I can only think of one specific time when that happened anyway.
He screened Fredo when he was having his diabetic attack.
Yeah.
And he also confessed to the Pope of his sins, which I actually did mind that scene. Although I do think it's a bit it kind of, I don't know, it kind of doesn't feel like Michael Corleone.
See, this is one of my main complaints, but I'll let you get your notes and stuff out of the way.
I'll go through my first page, and then you can go through a good section.
Okay, yeah. We'll
and
do
then,
that.
as opposed to me just because I've got a good amount, so I'll go through my first page, and then you say some.
Cool.
The transition to Fredo saying the Hail Mary is cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good, yeah.
Which is one of the only few times that I think there is some genuinely really nice, subtle filmmaking in the film.
Yeah.
And that was really neat. I feel I also note here, this film came out in an unfortunate time. The same year as Goodfellas, this style of slow burn methodical mob films was being outdone by the more jazzy stylized approach.
Yeah.
I think, and again, the exact same year as Goodfellas. I think at that point we kind of had already moved on from it. And if we were going to go for that and if we were going to go back to the slow-paced methodical style, can we actually have that slow-paced methodical style as opposed to what we actually got, which again, I'll explore a lot more in a bit. How in part 2 Michael was instantly intimidating. Here, he has a pathetic presence.
Yeah. I don't get it.
And not in a way of that's Michael Corleone. It's that's just...
Your happy uncle.
Yeah.
He's not Michael Corleone throughout any of this film. That's what... It baffles me. He's not the same character. He's just a dude.
And this is also post... When Pacino's subtle, again, that's when he's best in this film. But this is also... This is post Scarface. This is post freaking out Pacino. So there's moments where he just kind of freaks out, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's Pacino, but
it's not Michael Corleone.
No, not at all. Okay, and here we go. The scrap with Vinny and the bouncer was lousy, slow, and awkward. There was no rawness, and there was a weird lack of sound design around it.
Yeah.
He just and I have a lot to say about Vinny, because if I'm being perfectly honest, he's the worst part of this film.
Really?
I hated Vinny. I genuinely think he was awful. And
okay,
yeah,
see, we differ there.
Yeah, Sofia Coppola, not good at acting, and I've got it as a point here at somewhere that it might be on another page, but I'll get to it. But I genuinely did not like Vinny in this film. Like, he was the thing that tanked it for me.
Right, okay.
Michael's son went. I just note here, I like the fact how Michael's son went with Kay and his daughter went with him. I like how there's a bit of divide there in it, and could have been explored a bit more. Could have been.
Definitely could have been.
Vinny isn't cool. He seems like he's compensating, and he's just a bit creepy.
Yeah. There's a specific line that I've written down that I don't like.
It's specifically the moment where Vinny and Mary first meet each other, and he says something. Oh, she goes...
Yeah, I've got this written down. This is the line I'm on about 1 second.
Is it the bit where...
hang on. Yeah, she says, when we met when you were 15, and I was 8, and he's like, I had a lot of girlfriends when I was 15, and she goes, 8-year-olds, and he says, and I quote, especially 8-year-olds.
And I don't like it.
Excuse me?
It's not. It's not cool. It's not. Oh, what a lad! It's
what?
It's. Can he leave now? Can we no longer speak to Vinny anymore?
Especially 8-year-olds, Vinny.
Like, why did you have to say that?
Yeah,
Why was that the thing that came?
Introduction.
Why was that the thing that came in your mind? I got here. I don't like that. I don't like that Mary and Vinny are cousins, especially when there's instant sexual tension between the two.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get a lot more
stuff.
No. I got here. I put here. So far, Sofia Coppola isn't as bad as I remember.
Right. Okay.
I think it's because I was expecting something a lot worse, but
yeah,
it's not good. I like that. I like the Johnny Fontaine appearance. I just like how he should. Hey, Michael, here's your song. I'm just gonna go listen to some Tony Bennett records.
Yeah. Fuck off, Johnny Fontaine.
And I've got here. I also like how Michael has a sense of humor. It feels like he's gotten older. Like, as he's gotten older, he's becoming more like how he was prior to being the Godfather.
Yeah.
Which is the only thing I can think about how that links to Michael Corleone, because you're not. I don't know, but I think especially after part 2, what happened at the end of part 2, you can't really go back from that.
Yeah.
You had your brother killed. You can't really go back from that in a way. And he's not as old. He's not that old, I think. I think he's about his 50s. He's not like he's on death's door. I mean, he might be on death's door, but it's not like, he's not like fucking, I don't know.
Well, spoilers for the end.
Well, god damn it. Where's it? Oh yeah. I got quotes here. He should finish what he started, being a lawyer. Hypocritical of Michael to say so when he himself left college against his father's wishes.
Yes.
Again, there's moments where I like how history replays itself, but looking back in hindsight, it had no other point to it.
Yeah.
Other than just to be like, Michael was like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no other link to it, I don't think. It was just a lot of shit for shit's sake. I got it. If it wasn't for having good actors like Pacino and Diane Keaton, a lot of these scenes would come off as melodramatic. And I'm thinking especially the piece of dialogue between Pacino and Diane Keaton. after Tony leaves the room. There's no realism. It's
nothing.
It's no. And I think I've got it here. I got here. The dialogue is a bit much. And in quotes, but you became my horror.
Yeah.
It's random. It's like, why is this a thing? And again, my last point on my first page, dialogue is only there for obvious exposition, which is especially for a film like The Godfather, where it's dialogue heavy and really dialogue heavy. These films are 3-hour films that are just mainly dialogue, and it needs to have some sort of intrigue to them, not just random stuff like, "Oh, you were a bad person, Michael," or like some bollocks like that. Like it's just not good. It's not good. I'll finish to where my pen ran out, which is only a few more points. And then I get another pen. This is Tom Hagen's oldest boy. But where is Tom?
Oh, don't get me started on this shit. Wait till I get to my notes, because I'm so angry about this. I'm sure there's a logistical reason as to why Robert Duvall didn't return. But
I've got some good trivia points about Robert Duvall, actually, but that was my instant thought. This is Tom Hagen's oldest son, but where is Tom? I don't want his oldest son, who has 0 point in the film, and he just wears a dog's collar and just shakes hands and then leaves. I want Tom fucking Hagen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Vinny. I've noted here, Vinny is Sonny's boy. Is Sonny's son?
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, so it's a very close relationship. This was my thought process in all of this. I was like, okay, yeah, so this is quite a close relationship here. The film has a lot of unnecessary shouting.
Yeah.
Which there's just moments where people shout. And I'm like, why though? What was the point?
Why are you shouting?
Yeah. Like we got lectured about, we get lectured in uni about, don't use the word fuck all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like my feelings to how Hutch's feelings towards us using fuck all the time is my feelings towards Francis Ford Coppola being like, just shout. Like, why though?
Yeah.
What's your reason for raising your voice? Especially in a trilogy like The Godfather, where the past 2 films, especially Godfather Part II, where Michael just talks very quietly and slowly to make sure you understand his point, and he doesn't need to raise his voice because he's already threatening it as it is. But when he raises his voice, that's when you know shit has hit the fan, and then he raises his voice down because he's got you on the edge. That's the whole point of this. Why do we have random things like, again, a lot of it is Vinny, which I hated when it's like, he just shouts. He's like, oh, fuck him. And then Michael's like, oh, he's just like his dad. It's like, they're so, like, why does it, like, why is that a thing? Like, I don't know why. It just felt really out of place. Like, he just screams, and then Michael's like, oh, just like Sonny. And it's like, we get it.
Yeah, it's like, I guess, but.
Get it. And my last point before I let you do a few things here. The ear bite was also awkward, and combat in this film, for some reason, is handled really poorly. And I think that's a theme throughout the entire film. Whenever there's a fight or any altercation, it's just really awkward.
Yeah.
And that ear bite is horrific. Like,
it looks like, really weird.
Like, why? Why did that? Like, why did he bite his ear?
Because Vinny's crazy, man.
Right, so Vinny, let me get this straight. You're a hothead. Apparently when you were 15, you had plenty of 8-year-old girlfriends. You try to hit on any woman. You try to hit on... No, not you. You try to hit on any living being that has a vagina. And you just bite people's ears off. You're not a badass. You're a weirdo. You're the kid who would pick his nose and then eat it and then also sniff glue in the corner of the class. you're probably the kid who also had no friends in school, but your dad was Sonny Corleone, so you got special treatment. You were the kid that got invited to birthday parties, and the kid whose birthday it would be like, Mom, why do we have to invite Vinny? It's like, because he's a Corleone. But why? He's weird. He smells. Just talk to him. But he's strange. He just smells like cheese and onion. That's who Vinny is to me. Robbie, what's the point? I didn't like Vinny at all.
Are you alright?
I'm fine.
What's going on?
Right, what's your point, Robbie?
Here we go. Right, let's do this shit. Godfather Part 3. It's whack. Right? I just can't. So, the first note is a point that I would like to properly go into, right? I'll put, since when has Michael ever been a family man? Which, I think that's one of the main things that I found very confusing in this film, is that Michael Corleone has always been a very flat kind of stoic guy that doesn't particularly care about anything or anyone except him getting what he wants.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
But all of a sudden in this movie, he's just like your goofy uncle. he's like just a really nice random guy.
Yeah.
And it's also like, and Pacino, it was when it's at a point where Pacino's got to his point where he's thinking like, I won't actually bother anymore. I'll just kind of do a Pacino impression.
Yeah.
He's pretending to be Al Pacino, but isn't. But he is.
It is, isn't it?
It's like really weird.
It's like someone who's just kind of like, we couldn't get Al, so you be Al Pacino.
Yeah. You be Al Pacino for the day. Right. Next one. Taking me straight back to Fredo, and then I put a colon and an open bracket as a sad face, right?
Yeah.
Because I was sad to see him again. I missed that boy throughout this whole film.
It's safe to say that with the exclusion of Fredo and Tom, what is The Godfather?
Exactly. What's the point? I put, why did everyone stop singing? Do you remember the bit where everyone's singing at the beginning? Like there's the singers, and then two guys walk in and finish off a line, and everyone just goes quiet for no reason.
Oh yeah,
and they just look at him, and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so scared." And I'm like, "Well, why though?"
Was that Joey?
Or they're just guys at a party. They just started singing along. I don't.
Was that Joey Zaza? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. Yeah.
But also, I didn't note it down. Joey Zaza is the least intimidating mobster I've ever seen in my entire life. He's
the worst.
He's
the worst guy.
He's the cash converter manager.
Yeah, he's that guy. It's the bit when he was like, "Oh, I've been treated with no respect today. I'm so upset about it. You've been really horrible to me, Michael Corleone." It's just like, no one cares. Yeah. Joey, shut up, mate. Anyway, then I've got, especially 8-year-olds was one that I put down there. Bit weird. And then just Sophia Stop. She's not good, is she?
No, she's not.
She constantly has this face. I mean, thank Christ she can direct. But she's got this like face throughout it where she's kind of smiling, but also doesn't know what a smile is.
Yeah.
It's like an alien has been told to smile, but doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, like when John Connor's trying to teach the Terminator how to be a person in Terminator 2.
Oh my god, you're right.
It's like that. Right. I then put, this dude's giving her directions. Ha 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 ha. When she gets taken away from Andy Garcia in that first meeting between them, there's a guy who's walking away with her and he's like, speak clearly and smile well and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, haha, she's getting directions mid-take. And I put, holy shit, Frank Sinatra's back. I know I shouldn't for legal reasons because Frank Sinatra might sue us from the grave or whatever, but he wasn't happy about it. Anyway, this is one that I do want to go into properly.
Go on.
It's not even shot nice.
No.
Is this a different cinematographer? Because it looks...
No, it's Gordon Willis.
But it's just like boring close-ups.
I know.
There's nothing. There's nothing to the cinematography at all.
I've got a note somewhere where I said that where's that? Is that it there? No. Sicily is still a beautiful setting, but somehow the cinematography doesn't take full advantage of this.
No, not even a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice looking because it's Sicily, but
Yeah.
the shots aren't looking like it is. Like, we talked about Godfather 2, how it just had this grand look to it. But
Yeah.
there was no grandness to this at all. You know, to the end of the Godfather saga.
Nothing.
This reminds me of another saga-ending film that came out recently.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to go into which one, because we'll start talking about that and I'll go...
No, but go to the episode where Robbie was on the And We're Rolling podcast to hear what we think of Rise of Skywalker, but there you go.
Yeah, it's not good.
But that's what it reminds me of. There's no epicness to it. There's no grandness to it. All the characters feel different than they once were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put Anthony wasn't good either. The actor that plays Anthony isn't great.
No. Luckily, he's not in it long. He's not
in a lot of it. He's fine, but he's just, you know. I put the family's legitimate now, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Okay. And then there's this, which is a line that Al Pacino says. He says, "I spent my whole life protecting my family." No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
You did nothing for your family in any of these films. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And then, again, we've got up to the point where Tom's son's introduced, and my first note was, "Where's Tom?" Mm-hmm. And then the second note underneath was, "Mother Teresa Hagen?" Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
There was... So, when Tom's son's introduced, Pacino is like, introducing him to whoever. I can't remember what it is. But he says, and this is his mother, Teresa. And I was like, is that an on-the-nose Christianity reference?
I didn't.
Mother Teresa Hagen?
I didn't hear that.
I was very confused.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's, you know, whatever. And this is where we start to differ, because I wrote, I like Vinny. I think he's alright. Do you know why I think I liked him?
Go on.
Because he's the only entertaining person in the whole thing.
I guess if you want to, like, get drunk at how, like, batshit insane this film is, like,
yeah.
He's entertaining in the same way that Arnold Schwarzenegger's entertaining in Batman and Robin.
Yeah. No, but I thought Andy Garcia was alright. Like
Best supporting actor nomination worthy.
No, but I'd say he's putting the best shift in than anyone else is. Realistically. And here's the thing, right? So, we'll go back to your notes after this, because we've basically got up to the same point now.
Yeah, we'll match up to the same scene, and then we can...
What I'm thinking is, right, this doesn't feel like a Godfather film.
No.
And I'll tell you why, right? I'll tell you for why. Tom's not in it.
No.
Right? Fredo's dead.
Yeah.
Michael Corleone is not Michael Corleone anymore for some reason. He's just this other guy.
Yeah.
That, like, shouts randomly or whatever.
Yeah.
Connie's hardly in it. Kay's hardly in it. And the other characters that we've got are new characters introduced in this film. That I don't care about.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel like a continuation of these films at all, because
all.
the characters from the old ones hardly show up. Yep. And the one that's in it the most, being Michael, isn't the same character that he was.
No, it doesn't feel like it at all. No.
It baffles me. It's the same thing with, like, that why you can kind of make or break a sequel that you're doing like 20 years after the original with what you do with a character that's beloved. Cough Last Jedi. Like what I think does it well is something like Blade Runner 2049.
Yes.
Where Deckard has grown and he's older and he's a bit more seasoned, a bit more gruff, but you can see exactly how he would get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
In Last Jedi, I don't really disagree with what Luke does in that movie, because I don't think you can really track that properly, but at least it's given a reason in the movie, at least.
Mm-hmm.
This, Michael is just... He's done a complete 180 on everything that he was in the other two films, and there's no explanation.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It confuses me to no end.
That's the biggest thing that I think about this film. doesn't feel like The Godfather.
Not at all.
Which, even if it had the same aesthetic, maybe I could have, like, got down with it. But, like, I don't know, they slapped a filter on it.
Yeah.
They played the theme a bit, like a good few times.
Yeah, just slap a yellow square over the timeline and turn the opacity downward and you're fine.
Yeah, that's what they did.
That's alright.
I didn't read this out because I was too busy, like, having a bit of a raggy over Vinny about him biting the ear off there.
Yeah.
But apparently the point of that ear, a bit of trivia on that is biting ear and drawing blood stands for fighting to the death, according to Sicilian custom. So apparently that's why that happened.
So it wasn't a Mike Tyson reference then?
No, although that was my first thought as well. So he's just like Mike Tyson did. Right, I got following on from a Vinny point. I put here: if you're not sold on Vinny in this film, might not be for you.
Yeah,
because I mean, if you
I was sold on Vinny, and it still wasn't for me.
I mean, there's different reasons, but I think that's a big thing. Like, if you're not down for, because he's like meant to be like this thing of like, oh, he's the new guy on the block, and he's gonna be the new Don. Like, if you don't buy that, what's the point of being invested? Because you're not gonna be. When he eventually becomes Don, you're not like there's no catharsis to that. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, when the film is away from Michael and Kay, it feels like a film pretending to be The Godfather more than a Godfather film. I got here especially when the two guys break into Vinny's house.
Yeah.
Which I think is genuinely a terrible scene.
I quite liked it.
I think it's a lot of again, there's a lot of dialogue that doesn't need to be there. There's moments where Bridget Fonda's character, who I forgot the character's name, the reporter, she gets out of bed and she's just speaking to herself.
She's like, oh, bloody, get me a glass of water, God, what happened to please?
I don't even live here. It's like that. Like, you didn't need that piece of dialogue. And then, like, two guys jump out with stockings over their heads. And they're like, oh, just kill him, man. Fucking stab him. It's like, what? That's not, like, how's that Godfather? Again, I'm saying God, like, but they are. They're kind of like, yeah, stab him, man. Don't listen to him. And it's like
two Batman goons.
You know what they are?
I wrote down a note here and put, because obviously Batman came out in '89, the original Batman. Well, not the original Batman, but you know what I mean. I wrote down Andy Garcia would have been a great Batman, specifically after that scene.
You know what? Yes.
He probably would have been.
Yeah,
in '89, he probably would have been.
And I also want to add, I don't dislike Andy Garcia. I dislike Andy Garcia in The Godfather Part 3 because he's in the Untouchables, which The Untouchables is brilliant.
Yeah, really.
It's a really good film. So again, and I think he's good in it. I just don't think he's necessarily good in this film. Personally, and I've got it here as well. Vinny feels like someone doing a shit Sonny impression.
Yeah,
and the bit where he has got the gun pointing at the guys with the stockings on their heads, like, "Yo, go and shoot her! I don't care! I don't even know her! Look at this! Bang! I just shot a dude's head off." It's like,
I'm so cool and hard.
That's exactly what it feels like. It feels like someone again. It feels like how we talked about how Sonny feels like the cool gangster.
Yeah.
Vinny feels like someone trying to be the cool gangster.
I think the reason I enjoyed the scene, though, was because something was happening.
But what?
Not a lot, but it was something. Like, I got excited because something was happening.
Vinny could have, like, took a piss on them and that would have been something happening. Does it mean
that? Yeah, I guess, but still, like...
I mean, I can't say that I wasn't, like, it didn't drag. The scene didn't drag, but that was I've got a video of me watching that scene, like, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a plug on the Instagram, on the Intermission Instagram account. I'm going to put up a video that is a load of as a compilation of a load of clips of me watching the film. So you can see me diving into insanity as I'm watching The Godfather 3.
I can't wait to see this.
But yeah, It's just, I just found it again that didn't feel like a Godfather film or even like a slow burn mafia thing. It felt like just a random crime film. Like, oh, they broke into the house and they're gonna stab the girl that he's sleeping with, and then he points a gun, and it's just bleh, and he's
who sent him? Probably the guy that you were arguing with earlier. You fucking idiot. Why'd you have to ask?
Yeah, I honestly didn't get why. It's like, I don't know. Maybe did you consider the dude that you bit the ear off?
You idiot.
Maybe
who, by the way, he gets his revenge plans together very easily.
Yeah, he does.
Very, very swiftly, because that dude like bites his ear that night. People are in the house, right?
Yeah, he's like,
he gets
same
upset.
guys with stockings on their heads. Get him.
Yeah. He gets upset because Michael didn't give him any shares from the casino. Literally 30 seconds after he's left the door, he's somehow got like a fucking Apache helicopter to shoot up the building.
Oh, I have things to say about that scene. I have things to say about that. God damn it. I said here, is it dangerous if the oranges are juiced?
I thought this. It was when Michael was drinking it when he was having one of his little diabetic strokes or whatever.
And they had a tray waiting for him.
Yeah. There was he was like, I need like anything sweet. And this guy comes up with a fully prepared tray of like orange juices and chocolate bars, which he has for some reason.
Don't you know that's custom to the Vatican, Robbie?
Oh,
They just have orange juice and chocolate bars waiting for you. Hey, do you want to come to the Vatican? Hey, we got digestives.
The Pope loves a Snickers. As they said.
John 2:19. I love me some Snickers.
Love me a Snickers. Oh,
but yeah, I just thought of myself, it's like, and that's another thing. I love how in your face oranges were in this film. But did they ever like mean anything? Because I noticed there was a load of oranges. I'm like, is anything really bad happening instantly, or they just like...
It's like he kind of forgot what the point of the oranges were. He was like, oh, there was oranges in the other movies, weren't there? So I should probably put some in here.
Yeah,
they don't mean anything because nothing bad happens after anyone has any of them.
It's just
if
like,
anything,
hey,
it
oranges.
prevents bad things. Michael starts having a stroke and drinks some orange juice and he's fine.
Yeah.
So I guess it helps. I don't know.
I got here. Godfather Part 3 throws subtlety out the window.
Yeah.
I don't know at which point that was, but I clearly felt it at that point. I think it gets to a point where my notes become just manic.
Mine quite all over the place.
I got here in all caps, cut Vinny. Why does Sophia's lines sound dubbed over? Which I found in trivia because Sophia Coppola had to redub about 20% of her original dialogue for the final cut after a disastrous early screening for the New York press on December 12, 1990, where many of the critics acriminously singled out her performance. According to an interview in Entertainment Weekly the following month, she said her greatest vocal challenges for the role were eschewing her Valley Girl accent and correctly pronouncing the name of Corleone. So there was a lot of scenes that were overdubbed of hers, which
That's ridiculous to me.
Which doesn't help that her point
She's
of not
still
being
awful.
good. Yeah.
Like that's
God damn it. I mean, Sophia, thank God you made Lost in Translation.
Yeah.
Thank God you made that film. What's that? Oh yeah, here we go. I know, Sophia Coppola may be bad at acting, but Vinny is a bad character. That was my thought about it. Because inherently, the Mary character isn't necessarily bad. She could be a lot better.
I think she's really irritating.
She could be a lot
I really
better.
didn't mind Vinny. Like, oh.
I think it's just like he came across of like, just like as I said there, he's trying to be he doesn't feel like anything.
Right, yeah.
To me, like he feels like he's just trying to be Sonny, or like, and like he does come across as like the kid who's like, oh, let me try to do that. It's like,
yeah,
like Vinny, stop. And there's a specific moment. It's my. I'll say the point now, and then I'll go back to my point before when Michael screams. Oh no, hang on. In quotes, Vincent, will you shut up? I said at the exact same time that Michael did.
We said it in unison.
I went, shut the fuck up. I genuinely audibly went, shut the... He's like, oh, we should kill them all. And then Michael's like, maybe don't say what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And then he kept spouting off nonsense. And then Michael went, Vincent, will you just shut up? And I'm like, that's exactly my thought. He's just like this nuisance. He's just this kid who just keeps going, I'm going to kill him. Go, bat, bat, bat. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not, Vin.
No, you're not, Vin.
But before there, which we'll get even more into, any need for the helicopter massacre?
Not even slightly. I've got a very funny thing that genuinely made me laugh out loud in that scene.
Is it this one? I got in quotes, my lucky coat.
Yes, it's the lucky coat guy. What are you doing? You fucking moron. What? There is like a full-on helicopter shooting like 50 cal bullets into all your mates, and you're going, oh well, let me get my lucky coat. What are you doing, you idiot?
Best Picture nominee.
I just don't understand. What is that man doing? What could possibly be lucky about that coat? It's just it's not even like it's like a nice suit jacket. It's just a regular trench coat.
I love as well, like the room starts shaking and like, oh, what's happening? And then cut to an orange rolling off a table. And then like just like bullets flying at the fucking window.
I love the fact as well that Vinny holds up a body as a human shield at one point as they're running through.
Okay,
like
yeah.
that's gonna stop bullets from the gun of a helicopter.
Right.
It would go through him and pierce him as well.
Right.
Like,
Right. Godfather Part 1. We had Don Vito get gunned down in the streets. We had a car blow up. We had Sonny get absolutely Bonnie and Clyded.
Yeah.
Godfather Part 2. We had a big fucking hit attempt on Michael. People just gunning down his house. Like that's all they're doing. Godfather Part 3 has a goddamn helicopter attack where there's just like, how did that... Right.
Where'd he get it?
That was exactly what I was going to say.
Where'd he get the helicopter?
Does Joey just have a helicopter on him?
And was his plan the whole time to do this? Because this is what I'm saying about him having his plans coming together quite quickly. He's in there, he gets upset about the things, and he's like, oh, I've had no respect, and you've made an enemy out of me, Michael Corleone, right? He leaves. Within 10 seconds, the table starts shaking.
And, I forgot the dude's name. Hang on, I need to look. Eli Wallach in this film, which, God bless Eli Wallach.
Is that the old guy with the weird cane with the hand on it?
Yeah, which I love that cane.
I hated him so much. So much. He is the worst.
He's not good. Don Altabello?
Probably.
Yeah, sure, him, yeah. I love the cane, though. The cane was brilliant.
Yeah, the cane's pretty good.
But, yeah, no, and then he walks out. And then all of a sudden, Joey, like, you know, like, when you're in GTA and you call an airstrike?
Yeah. That's literally what it was. It's like he'd got a 5-kill streak in Call of Duty and called down a gunner.
It's exactly what happened.
It's called in the AC-130. I just don't... It's really dark.
I got here, why is Michael screaming Fredo as he's having a diabetic attack?
Because, I don't know.
It got right. Again, I like Pacino, and he has some good moments in this film. When he starts freaking out, it's kind of laughable, really.
Yeah, it really was.
When they're trying to carry him to get to the hospital, and he's just going, Fredo!
I mean, there's a fan theory here for you.
I so wish, right? You know what would have fucking happened if this came out like 30 years later? He would have seen like a CGI John Cazale looking at him.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like a Grand Moff Tarkin style.
Yeah.
Big old CGI forehead.
Could you imagine that? Like he looks and he turns around, CGI Fredo, and then he has the diabetic attack.
I mean, but like fan theory here that I've just thought of right now. What if he wasn't having a diabetic attack and he was actually getting possessed by the ghost of Fredo?
You know what? If they may as well.
Because that's what it looks like. It looks like he's having an exorcism.
He does, doesn't he?
He's just like freaking out for no reason. I mean, obviously there's a reason he's having a stroke, but that's not really what happens when you have a stroke.
I got here when Connie says, "I'll call Kay," and my thought was like, why? Why does Kay
would you
need
do
to
that?
know? Let me call, your ex who you abused like a motherfucker, who I protected from your abuse, Michael. Let me call Kay to let her know that her ex
Let me call your ex-wife who's remarried.
Yeah, why is she so involved? Like, I get her being involved in, like, when Tony and Mary's involved, because, her kids. But Michael is having a diabetic attack. Why should Kay give a shit? I mean, she might care, but why does she need why does she need to know instantly?
No.
Why shouldn't the thing be like, I'll call Tony?
Yeah.
His son.
Yeah, like that makes more sense.
Then when Joey got killed, I had a good. It was such a thing.
Yeah.
And I got, and my main point here is in all caps, an Uzi.
Yeah.
An Uzi just.
Again, subtly, just completely out the window.
Yeah.
Of just like, why? Why can't it just be a pistol or something like anything else?
Yeah. I got here. I think this was during the point where Vinny was like, when Michael's like, why did you order that kill? He's like, oh, I took revenge on them. And then Michael goes like, could you not? So I just put Vinny as the worst. Again, just more.
Vinny is totally the worst.
Vinny is the worst. And then there was one other point. I think they were in Sicily, and I put, of course, Vinny is holding an orange. Of course, Vinny's holding an orange.
Oh, God damn it.
I got here. The scene in Sicily is actually pretty good. The transition from Tony singing to the Godfather theme was actually quite beautiful.
Yeah.
And again, that's just a beautiful. It's a nice moment. I like because I also got here. You know what? I like Italian music and Italian singing. It's nice.
Yeah.
But and again, I like it when he's like playing the guitar and he's singing the Godfather melody, and then that fades into the actual Godfather theme. And I think that's the only time when it makes sense, when the Godfather theme is playing in Sicily, like how we said in the Godfather Part II, how it almost brings a form of nostalgia to it.
Yeah.
And they're in Sicily, where that's kind of where like where Vito was born and all that stuff, and kind of made his name, and that's where that's the only time where I think the theme is
used properly,
where it belongs.
Yeah.
In all
I
honesty,
agree with that. Yeah.
Because we said it. Because in Part 2, Nino Rota, he did he implemented a good few other musical cues, and I forgot the name of it. I forgot. It's a musical term, but it's like musical cues associated with other characters. I don't understand why we couldn't have had more of those within it.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that I like. Again, I know we're talking about Star Wars a lot, but I mean, it's kind of related in terms of like talking about like characters and musical cues. I'm not a fan of the prequels, but one thing I do appreciate is that John Williams outright made specific new cues for characters.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, which is kind of what I thought was lacking a lot in the new trilogy, actually, in terms of musically. Apart from Rey's theme in Force Awakens, but that's an entirely different thing.
Yeah, because it's mostly just like, here's the Force theme, remember this?
Yeah.
Like, I do, but...
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Right. And again, we can have a bit more of a discussion about this at some point a bit later. Why is the lesson... don't have sex with your first cousin something that needs to be said?
Yeah, it's weird.
Why
don't do that?
Why? I think I skipped the scene, but we can talk about it if you want. Like, I videoed myself again.
Is this them kissing in the kitchen scene?
Yeah.
It's not good, is it? I don't like how she just keeps kind of appearing.
Yeah, no.
Like Vinny's just doing stuff wherever, and she'll just teleport there.
Yeah, exactly. I got again the Vinny and Mary storyline drags this whole film down.
Yeah,
just absolutely drags it down. I don't like how they're making it official that Michael loved his Sicilian wife.
Oh, right. What I have a note on this.
Yeah, again, I'm saying my points now, so when you get to yours, we can have actually like a full-on discussion about it. But yeah, I don't like that, and I already made my point how Sicily is still a beautiful setting, but somehow the cinematography doesn't take advantage of it. Right, continue chat. Yeah, there you go. Get up until the Sicily scene, and then we can...
Okay, my first note to continue is in all capital letters. Tom fucking died off screen.
Which I missed. I missed hearing that.
What?
Yes.
Like, are you... What?
I get Clemenza in the second film.
Yeah, but...
But Tom Hagen...
Hagen is not a character that you just kill off screen.
No.
Between movies. That's so dumb. Pacino just says offhandedly, like, he's talking about Tom's son. He's like, oh, his father didn't live to see him ordained, but I did. And that's it. That's the only mention we get.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
What would have drummed it home a lot more, Paulie, is if there was just like a picture of him, like on a desk.
Oh God, yeah.
Like,
and Michael looks at it and like puts it face down. Because he can't bear to look at him or something.
Because my point about that is, right, even in the beginning, in the first Godfather, we established Tom is a brother of the Corleone family.
Yeah.
He's not blood, but they outright say, Michael goes, he's my brother. So, right.
In the second part, it is fully said, yeah.
In the entirety of the film, in this franchise, in the series, there isn't one Corleone child death. Not just death. There's not one Corleone death that isn't specifically like brought into, like, or like made important in any way. Sonny dies, makes it, not only is the scene like a very standout scene, but the whole point, the importance of that is like, now he's not going to be the heir to the Corleone family.
Now it's got to be Michael.
And that's the big shift there.
Yeah.
Vito dies. Another big moment of him dying in the orange field, playing with Tony, and you know, and like giving him a nice send off in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's that generation gone now of Corleone.
Yeah.
Okay. The mother dies. Big important part, because now that means Fredo's gonna go.
Yeah.
That's the big like point there. She wasn't necessarily an integral character to have like a whole like scene dedicated to her dying, but you know, it's a big enough point.
Yeah.
But that's the whole relevance to it.
It still means something. It has relevance that she's dead now.
Yeah. Fredo's death is the ultimate catalyst to truly showing Michael is in the point of no return to all of this.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a big, you know, impactful scene as well. He's done.
Yeah.
There. And even at the end of this film, Michael's death, which we can talk about.
We'll get to it.
But we see it happen, and it's shown he's all on his own and all that stuff, and he falls dead.
Yeah.
Connie doesn't die, obviously, so it's, you know, we don't get like that moment for her. But every Corleone death has a meaning to it and has a significance to it. The fact that Tom's just gone is
no explanation given.
Is incredibly insulting to the character, I think.
Yeah.
And
really is, yeah.
And all the development that we had for him.
Like, whether it was a thing because they were angry about Robert Duvall not coming back or not, like, just as a service to the character, it needs to be...
Yes.
There needs to be some reasoning for why he's not there, as opposed to just saying, oh yeah, he died. How did he die? I don't know, it don't matter.
Yeah, no, it's
like,
it's terrible. It's terrible, absolutely awful. I think that just,
My next note was, so Michael's buying out Christianity, I guess.
Get it.
He's just kind of buying out the church.
Yeah.
Well, he's not. He's like, the Vatican owns European real estate, apparently.
Apparently the Vatican at one point owned Paramount Pictures. Once upon a time.
Oh, brilliant.
I in real life, I did learn that in trivia, but yeah.
Yeah, because there's that in what is it, Instanziable or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
That they keep saying over and over again, and I googled what it was. It's European real estate, which apparently the Vatican owns, and he's gonna buy it from he's gonna get it from the Vatican for giving him 500 million or something. It doesn't. No one cares. It doesn't matter. It's useless. for the entire film, it is useless.
Yeah.
Nothing comes of it.
Yeah, no.
My next note is she's so bad, and then the next note after that is she's so fucking bad. So I've then got This Isn't Michael, which we've talked about. Then who the fuck is this old guy? I'm pretty sure I was talking about the guy with the cane.
I can't pronounce it. Was say Eli Wallach. I can't pronounce the character's name.
He's so weird.
He's not good in this film at all.
And then I've just put my lucky coat in capital letters because I found it really funny.
My coat! My lucky... It's like,
my
leave
lucky
it!
coat!
First of all, what's keeping that coat to that wall? What did you do?
Yeah, it's just on a peg. Did you glue it? Like, you just take it off the peg.
Second of all, you could leave. How did you get that far into the crime syndicate where your main point is, I can't leave without my goddamn trench coat?
Honestly, in that entire scene when all that stuff was happening, I only think I witnessed one guy try the door.
I know, yeah.
What was everyone else doing?
Oh!
Anyway.
They were running, just waving their arms. They were running to the bullets. That's what happened. Everyone became stupid and couldn't remember what they do in a shootout.
It's the bit as well where he's all like, $500 million. Wow. Thanks, Michael. And everyone's just being real nice to him. I'll get back to something about that in a bit, but yeah. There's a thing where when Michael sat down and they were discussing what's just happened, and Andy Garcia's all like, I'm going to kill him. I'll get him for you.
Yep.
And everything. I wrote, the thunder's a weird choice.
Oh, God, yeah, that was...
There's just thunder happening for some
ridiculous.
reason.
Again, subtlety, gone. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
What is subtlety?
Which is... It's and also the bit where he says, which is easily the most famous line in this film, where he says, just when I thought I was out, they dragged me back in.
Yeah.
I wrote, you don't need to be back in, though, just tell the police, because you're legitimate now.
It's like,
you don't need to be back in.
They keep pulling me back in. It's like, they don't, though.
You don't, though.
But then
you're legitimate now. You just tell the police.
But then he doesn't, because he has a diabetic attack, and then he spends the rest of the film being like, oh, Vinny, you can't do that anymore. And then he leaves the business. So it's like, you don't get pulled back in. It's not like you plan this massive murderous spree. It's Vinny's psycho ass that does that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do anything, Michael.
I wrote, is he having a heart attack? And then underneath, never mind, it was a stroke.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I put Andy Garcia is completely wasted on these shit scenes of nothing.
Yeah.
with Sofia Coppola, because they have really nothing scenes.
Again, I didn't get to it. The kitchen scene is the worst. It might that might be the worst moment in any Godfather film ever. And this is the thing that I mean that I talked about at the beginning about what there's one plot point that why doesn't this get talked about? Why is there just casually a subplot of two first cousins getting it on?
Yeah.
Why is this like a thing that happened?
It's very strange.
But like, look, I'm sure in 1990 this just wasn't a thing. I'm sure this was like, oh yeah, this is acceptable. I don't get like people like, oh,
it wasn't, surely.
Like, oh, Pacino isn't that bad and the plot isn't too. Why aren't we focusing on the fact that literally there's a written scene where Sonny's son and Michael's daughter are fucking.
Yeah, like that's incest. Why is no one talking about this?
Yeah, and it's like, I haven't noted it down, but there's a point where she's like, oh, I love him. And then Michael's like, Mary, he's your first cousin.
Oh, then I love him first.
Like,
what?
Get away. And then like Tony's like, yeah, it's dangerous. Don't do it. And she's like, nah, you don't get it. It's like, no, why is...
Yeah, in the most unconvincing way possible. Only Pacino's doing a good job in that scene because he's like...
Yeah.
He's your first cousin, Mary. What are you doing? And she's all like... in a really monotone voice, she's like, well, then I love him first. And then Tony's all like, it's dangerous, you should listen to Dad. And it's just that. And then Pacino in the middle trying to keep it afloat.
It's like...
It's just awful.
That's a very good point. Like, there's one, like, Pacino's got a fucking kayak. There's one, like, the end, there's one hole there. He's like, God damn it. And then he looks behind him and the back's gone and he's still just paddling away, just trying.
It's just Pacino with his big, like, paddle going through it when there's two holes at either end of the boat. He's got nothing to do. I put this is about when Joey was killed, I'm guessing, because I was wrote KKK was a weird choice, wasn't it?
Oh, I've got there's one note here. It's like, why is that an ongoing image?
Yeah, why is the people in clan uniforms in that street parade?
When I went on to Godfather Part 3, I didn't expect to have an incest storyline and random KKK imagery. Like,
Yeah.
Of course, this is what the Godfather needed.
Yeah, because I mean, take it on the chin, you know.
Why do we?
And then
I mean, I know it's about family and that, but fucking hell, you're taking it a bit too far, aren't you?
You're gonna really enjoy this one. This note, I think. In Sicily, when they first arrived, there was a thing with the music, and I just wrote in a note, "Die another day," because when they first arrive in Sicily, it sounds like the Madonna theme for Die Another Day. It's like it's like
I didn't notice that. I didn't.
It's like a weird electric bass guitar. It's like bum 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 bum.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up. I can't remember.
It was really weird. I just noted it straight away and was like, why is that?
There's one bit towards the end of like the big there's when the whole like shit's happening in like the opera house, and there's like that one weird there's the Italian twins, and like it randomly becomes like shitty Bond for a bit for like one shot.
Oh yeah.
where the guy's like in a dicky boat, he's like got a gun like that. He's like, It's like what is this? What's happening?
I've written how many boring ass scenes in this movie are gonna start with Michael saying, "I have called you here today." Right. He does this very often in this film. There's just like, he has meetings and he goes, "I've called you all here today for this specific thing." And then everyone goes, "Oh my God, Michael, thanks so much. You're so great." And there's like 4 or 5 times that it happens, and they're nothing every time.
It's just no scenes.
I've written he's upset about the Sicilian lady because the whole point of her character in the first movie is that it shows that he's just using his power to get what he wants, because he doesn't actually care about it. He's just doing it as a power play. So why is he now sad about it?
Yeah, and there's like a photo album with her there, and for some reason Mary's looking at her.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, it's like, why do you care? Like,
I thought Mary was going to go to Michael and be like, "Is this my real mum?" I thought that was a subplot we were going to have to deal with, but luckily it didn't happen.
I mean, I would have much rather that than, "Daddy, why can't I have sex with Vinny?"
Well, yeah, I guess.
It still would have been. I mean, I would have rather her like not. Just not.
Yeah. Like, I just think that it's just another one of the things in this movie of just completely missing the point of things that you set up in the other 2 films.
I saw
you one. It's like he doesn't understand what he wrote.
I saw one review on Letterboxd when I was looking at them last night. Just generally, I saw one person say, "Right, Francis, when we said we wanted more female representation in the Godfather films, we didn't mean this."
Yeah.
It's like, God damn it. Yeah.
I've got 2 more notes and then I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah.
I've put, this would only work with a cutthroat razor. Right, you know the bit when Michael's shaving and Vinny comes in and shaves for him? Usually in films when that's done, it's a cutthroat razor, and like, you know, they do it in one of the Bond films, Skyfall probably.
Yeah.
But in this, he's just using like a Mach 3. Just like a regular ass razor, and it looks really stupid. I'm like, why can't Michael just do this himself? Why is Vinny doing it?
Oh, let me do it for you.
Anyway, that was just a... Yeah, it's very strange. I put, why should I care about any of this? Just generally. And my last one is...
Yeah, that's a point that like I got to at one point. It's like, what's why? What's
the point in any of this? I put... This is my last one that I'll leave on before I throw it back to you again. Is the diabetes just an excuse for Pacino to overact? Because he's not good at it, is he?
No, you're right there. Like, yeah.
Like, even the bit where he's like talking about he's confessing that he killed Fredo to the Pope or whatever.
Yeah.
His crying's really over the top and like screaming and stuff, and it's like, what are you doing? Stop it. But yeah.
Yeah. But
I'll throw it back to you.
Just quickly going back to the kitchen scene, as much as I don't want to like think about that scene ever. Because I didn't note it down, but it's one of the videos that I recorded myself when I was watching that scene. I was thinking myself, it's when they were rolling dough, and I was thinking to myself, oh, it's like Ghost, but crap.
But really bad.
And then it's the fact, like, again, there's genuinely a scene where two cousins just mount each other.
Yeah.
And it's played off like, romance at last. It's like, no.
No, it's not, though.
Do you know what would have been better? Why wasn't Vinny, like, Tony's mate?
Yeah. And that would have been fine.
Like, what? And, like, he has this fire in him. And then, like, you could have had a thing where Michael's like, oh, you remind me of my oldest brother. Or something like that. Like, that, like,
yeah.
Why couldn't that have been a thing?
So much easier.
And then Michael, you could have been, oh, but then when he made him Dawn, he breaks the family thing. Well, maybe you could have done a thing where Michael's like, maybe the Corleones aren't suited for all this now. So
yeah,
maybe
the Corleones are past it.
Maybe I should hand it over to Vinny. Like, maybe that could have been a thing.
Yeah.
That you could have done a whole storyline of, like, you know, breaking the monarchy or whatever, in a sense.
Yeah. Makes more sense.
Like how, like, Britain went from having a monarchy rule the country to political prime minister and all that stuff. You know, you could.
But then also still a monarchy for some reason.
You know, because even though, even though the film, because I was thinking about this, the films have always had a bit of a religious thing to them, but they've never been outright religious in the sense of it. We actually have a film with the Vatican, and somehow all, like, the religious connotations are gone in this film.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It's just on the nose stuff.
Because I think part of the beauty about the Godfather films is, like, they're mafia films, but they kind of have, like, these, you can read deeper into them where it's like, oh, that can be about war, or oh, that can be about religion. About it. But this one is like, oh, it's just a bunch of, like, mobsters just kind of, like, not really doing anything.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah. I got here when Michael confesses he killed Fredo. Heartbreak can be felt, but I feel like that is a scene separate from the Godfather films.
Yeah.
Like, if you take that out of that, honestly, that scene can work better not in context.
Yeah.
But that, I know that down there. This is one thing I just completely realised. Connie seems completely useless to the plot.
Right. You would genuinely, if you hadn't seen the other films and didn't know who Sonny was, would just imagine that Connie was Vinny's mum. That's all she does in this film.
I hated that she was just Vinny's hype person, hype woman.
Yeah, that's all she is. That's all she is in this film.
Like, oh, Vinny's mint.
Yeah, it's like, oh, let's give him a chance. He's a good lad. Like, well, and that's all she does, is just go, oh, Michael, I think that Vinny's really cool.
Yeah.
She's useless.
Yeah, and this wasn't really a good year for Talia Shire, because this was the same year as Rocky V.
Ooh.
She didn't have any good sequels, really, did she, from beloved 1970 franchises?
No, she didn't, did she?
I got in quotes here, poor Fredo drown. And then I thought to myself, wouldn't there been a bullet hole?
Yeah.
And
in the face.
And if Fredo did drown, they're a family to have an open casket. Wouldn't have Connie questioned why there isn't an open casket to Fredo? If he just drowned, if that's the story you're giving him, if that's the story you're telling Connie, oh yeah, Fredo drowned, that's why he's dead. Ignore his brain gone. Ignore the hole in his head.
Ignore the hole in his big old forehead.
Ignore the lack of forehead now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing that I was thinking to myself, poor little Fredo drowned.
Jesus Christ.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
It's not the fact that he didn't. How did they hide that?
How has he kept it a secret for 20 years or however long it's been since the last one?
It would have made more sense if he got poisoned and then they threw him in the ocean or, like, whatever.
Yeah, or if they, put something in a drink or something like that, he was taken out fishing with him.
Like, they gave him some orange juice and then he, fell over or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, he got shot.
How would he have drowned?
Yeah.
Did he get did he catch a really, really strong fish that dragged him into water like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon?
And the guy next to him just didn't have any attempt at saving him.
Yeah, not even like a little bit.
So yeah, that's like that point really, like, it was such a throwaway thing, but that was the thought. Oh, he drowned. How did that get? How was that hidden?
Yeah, like Connie knew straight away that Michael had killed her husband.
Yeah.
But her brother's just like, nah, he probably did drown.
Dumb Fredo. Fuck's sake, Fred.
Fucking Fredo. God. You idiots.
I also put here, in quotes, do the donkey. I want to die.
Don't get me started on the donkey.
I genuinely put, I want to die when that scene happened.
For anyone who's listening to this podcast because they just kind of enjoy listening to people talk about films and rant and rave or whatever, and you actually haven't seen this, there's a part in this film where an old guy sees a kid that I'll say a kid.
It's Eli Wallach.
About 25.
It's Eli Wallach's character.
Yeah, and he's like, yo, I haven't seen you since you were like really young, and the guy's like, oh yeah, and he's all like, do the donkey. With no context, because we've never seen this person before.
This is our introduction to these characters.
Yeah, and bear in mind, this guy never shows up again.
No, he does. He's at the end.
Oh yeah, oh my god, yeah, he does, because he's an assassin. I forgot about that.
That's the point. That's the whole point of these characters.
Oh my god. Right, sorry. So this guy turns up and he's all
and he
like,
does the donkey at the end as well when they're all dead. He's going. Oh
my god. Yeah, he just sits there and just goes. Oh. What are you doing?
And then Eli Wallach goes, and then lobs him an orange for good luck.
Yeah, he's like, ha ha ha, yes, that is great, donkey.
I sent that clip to Lewis and Gary. Keep in mind, Lewis has seen the film. Gary has not seen any Godfather films. And I sent the clip with the caption, Best Picture nominee. And Gary went, what the actual fuck?
Yeah, because what is any of that?
Like, it's...
Why?
Oh, God, yeah. But yeah, I just put...
Is he credited as the donkey?
I don't want to know.
I hope he is.
I do as well. Do the donkey. And then I just put, again, my thing here, I want to die. Yeah. Just like, I hate it.
Why is that?
I hate it. So the film should only have been about Michael dealing with age and his inevitable end, instead of also having Vinny. That's another thing I put, because you know what? There's a good thing that can be made in there. Having an aging Michael Corleone just kind of like coming to the end of it all, kind of like, a big old retrospect of his old life. You could have done that.
Yeah.
And in a sense, it could have been a fun little play on like Francis Ford Coppola looking back at his career in a sense as well. And again, there's moments where I'm like, why wasn't The Godfather Part III that?
Yeah.
Because you're clearly not wanting to do any really intellectual crime stuff. Like that's not a point to be made. So why not just make the whole film Michael thinking about everything that's happened in the past few films? God's sake. I put here...
Just make it a thing about legacy and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Why not just do that? I've got here, I've been to the toilet twice during watching this because taking a piss is more satisfying than watching Vinny being shit sunny.
Did you pause it when you went?
I did. I didn't just leave the screen.
Oh, right, I was going to say that.
I didn't just leave. I did pause.
Pause how it goes for a piss. What's happened in the plot? Probably nothing, realistically.
No, I did hit pause, but I was like, you know what? I could hold it in, but you know what? No. Because I'm not pissing myself for The Godfather Part III. I kind of love it for the moment between Michael and Kay walking in Sicily. When they're passing Vito's old house and the wedding, where it becomes a before film for like that one section. I kind of, again, I love that thought, like the thought of a scene of just Michael, an aging Michael and Kay walking through Sicily, just chatting. You know what?
Yeah.
Before Vito, could that have been a thing?
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Before olive oil.
Oh my God, yes. What happened there?
It's perfect. It works so well.
But then I where's that? Oh yeah,
Be Fredo. Sorry, go on.
Of course, exactly.
Excellent.
I love how that's the thing they came. Be Fredo.
But I got really excited about that.
In quotes, her father stabbed her through the heart, foreshadowing much.
Yeah.
When they were watching Punch and Judy or whatever the fuck it was.
I genuinely forgot about that.
And then I also noted when they were like sat down, like eating or something. Again, good acting between the two of them. I feel like Michael and Kay casually chatting sort of negates all the trauma from part 2.
Yeah, because if they're gonna just be fine with each other and be laughing, and he's like, "Oh, I'm the driver for the day, haha, I'm a goofy dude."
Yeah, again, it's nice.
Then what was the point in all that suffering in the second one?
Again,
what was the point in them splitting up?
Again, it's nice moments, but not in relation to the rest of the Godfather films.
Yeah,
like
it's just forgetting the point of what you did before.
Yeah, like imagine if like I don't know, we did like Kay left him like. He didn't go back with Kay after the first film. And she kind of like came in every now and then in this, like he had a different wife. And Tony and Mary are two different kids. Because I'm not also, like, let's be real. I'm not being funny. They're far too Italian-American to be Kay's kids.
Yeah.
I kind of thought about that in part 2, to be fair. They were very Michael Corleone and not at all, really. But like, if Kay wasn't really involved at all in part 2, maybe she popped in every now and then just to see Michael. This relationship would work out more. Like,
100%.
But when we went through a whole plot point in part 2 where Kay aborted another son, and Michael's other son, and then Michael battered her in the face. And Michael threatened her several times, "You will no longer see my kids ever again." How are they just casually bullshitting now?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that is kind of offensive to any, like, people who were involved in an abusive relationship. Don't worry about it. Just wait till you're old and then bullshit with your abuser. Like that, that's like, again, so that was my genuine, I was like, oh, this is nice, them just chatting. And then I remembered, wait a minute.
Yeah, you think about it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, hang on.
Yeah, it kind of...
This isn't right, is it?
It kind of negates that, like, the end of part 2, where the last time we see Kay in that film, where Michael walks in the kitchen and just glares at her, like, that terror there. It's kind of like... And then you look instantly at them just sat at the table, and then, like, Kay, like, "I always loved you, Michael. I never stopped loving you." It's like, that's kind of toxic.
Yeah.
In a sense.
It's like the Joker and Harley Quinn if, like, the Joker got neutered.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
It's really strange.
Again, I put Pacino and Keaton are the best part of this film.
Yeah. But even then, I wasn't particularly impressed by Diane Keaton.
No, again, I say best part. I don't say amazing.
yeah, exactly.
Then I put here. It's already said there. Like, however, I feel the Michael Kay plot is slightly damaging, which we just discussed there.
Yeah.
Michael handing the role of Don to Vinny is the moment where Michael finally feels free from all the pain of his life. And again, I feel like if that happened after a much better part 3, it would have been a lot more impactful, because they got the scene right. I think they got the scene, they got the moment, they got the feeling, they got the moment where Michael's walking out the door, seeing Vinny finally.
Yeah,
it's a solid moment. It's really good.
It just doesn't feel earned though.
No, not at all. Have I missed a point here? Hang on. Or did I not write it down?
Don't know.
Hang on. But yeah, go and say your point while I'm looking at something there.
None of it feels earned. Like, if it had been the thing, like the scene that we got, and then Michael walks out, and then you could even try and recreate that shot of when Kay was looking in through the door in the first film and then got shut out. You could recreate that with Michael.
Yeah.
And it would have been really nice and symbolic and like, okay, we get it. He's not part of that world anymore. But they didn't do that anyway.
No.
But the scene that we did get was fine on its own. But nothing that Vinny's done, Nothing about the relationship that's been written between these two characters throughout this film. None of it leads to a point where any of that feels earned.
Like, it's like
for him to now be the Dom.
It's almost like Michael's like, oh, by default, you're like really the only one that's related to me that can do it. So go on then.
Yeah, it's like he just goes, I guess you.
Yeah. Yeah,
But we're supposed to be like, oh yeah, that's yeah. It's supposed to be a good relieving moment, but it's not earned.
Yeah. Again, they have the scene right, just not in the film, not in that film.
Yeah.
Exactly. The point that I skipped, it's the only other good part. It's one of the only other good parts of the film that I can say, in all honesty. Quote: "Let me show you the real Sicily to understand the family more." K. Oh, I think I understand it enough. And I put, holy shit, a good piece of dialogue only took an hour and 51. Because again, I like that moment in the sense of like, he's like, oh, I'll show you the real Sicily. And like, Kay's like, oh, I think I understand it perfectly. And it's like, oh yeah, because that's like kind of like, yeah, like, oh, Sicily's nice, understand the family. It's like, yeah, but this is also the place where this all started.
Yeah.
Which again...
It's also the place where you cheat on me. I mean, she doesn't know, but...
Although I think she does. Because she just says, oh, and then you married someone else. It's like, when did you find out? When was this? Exactly. When was this knowledge to you?
That feels like a plot point.
Yeah.
You know, like Tom Hagen dying. God fucking damn it.
Yeah, I like that piece. It's the only thing that felt Godfather-y.
Yeah.
But yeah. Where's it at? Another point here. Oh yeah. Now we're at the opera house scene at the end.
Right.
This is in relation to Eli Wallach. Where's it at?
Oh Christ.
No sane person is that enthusiastic at the theatre while eating a cannoli. Where he's just holding... You're so right.
Where
he's just holding a fucking cannoli going... Again, listeners, you can't see it, but he's... Yeah, he's just kind of like... It's like...
He is absolutely over the moon.
What do you do? Oh, he's loving it. He's got the cannolis from Connie, and which is clearly poisonous, because, I mean, obviously the look that Connie gave him when she saw he bit into it, it's like, yeah, so you've done some of that. It's not subtle at all, mate. And then, like, when he dies, he is dead. I mean, I haven't noted it down, but, like, I'm going to say it now. His death is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life, Robbie.
Oh, it's brilliant. It made me so happy.
Again, I sent that clip to Lewis and Gary, and then Lewis just laughed, and he went, it looks like he died from taking a shit.
Yeah. Well, I genuinely don't think I can put into words how chuffed I was when it happened.
It's like...
Because it was again a point where I'd been waiting for so long for just anything to happen.
I know.
And that's what I get, and I was over the moon. I was so happy.
Yeah, he just kind of like does the typical death thing. Like, he's holding the cannoli, he's looking up, he's rolling his eyes in the back of his head. He kind of goes...
Yeah,
like you can't hit, and then like Connie's like, sleep, Godfather, go restfully, and it's like this. It's not good. And then I got the next bit here. Why is there so many KKK imagery?
Yeah,
like why?
It's real weird.
Like why?
Stop doing it, Francis.
Like, remember that bit? I think it's in Goblet of Fire or Order of the Phoenix, where there's just random people running with like pointed...
Oh, the Death Eaters have just got like KKK uniforms.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, why is that a thing in Harry Potter?
Why is this happening?
It's like that as well. It's like there's just people like with white cloaks and pointed things, and it's like, why is this in The Godfather? It's not relevant. It's not relevant.
Not relevant at all.
It's not like they talk to the fucking Klansman to get a deal in or whatever or something like that.
There's nothing to do with race relations in these films.
I mean, they kind of like say,
kind of
in part 2, but it's not really as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's very strange.
When everyone is getting killed off, it's meant to be Vinny's Michael moment, but he doesn't deserve it.
He doesn't at all.
It doesn't feel like... Because he already did it. You already did it. It's like, right. But
again, it's not earned. It's just...
and again, we can talk more about this, but I put Mary's death is atrocious.
It's It's really bad. It's real stupid.
I put the montage of Michael dancing is beautiful. Shame it wasn't at the end of a better film.
Yeah.
And then I put fuck that ending.
What the fuck is that?
And I got a little bit more notes, which we'll make after you say something. But yeah.
So I haven't got a lot of notes on the ending because I was just kind of baffled as to what was happening, and I didn't really write anything down. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna say the bits that I have got noted down, and then just give my overall rest of the thoughts that I have off the top of my head.
And then we could just free flow talk about whatever we need to talk about with this film.
Yeah. So I put, but why does he want Michael dead? Talking about Eli. Why? It's not really explained.
There's no real reason at all for him to
He just kind of does, because he's like, oh, he's on the out, and he also tells Vinny about it, even though Vinny's his bodyguard. He definitely will tell Michael.
Oh yeah, that is what happened. He's like, oh yeah, come on, join me. It's like no.
Yeah, why would I do that?
Is it because Joey got killed? But I don't know.
Yeah, I guess,
Maybe,
but
why Michael?
Also, did Joey not try? Oh no, because he left the room before it all started happening.
Yeah. Remember? Yeah, he walked out the room. He was like, "Oh, let me explain, Michael. Michael, just wait here, and then and then cut to earthquake, orange rolls, my lucky coat,
Apache helicopter. I put
orange helicopter coat. That needs to be like a shirt.
That'd be the title of this episode.
In brackets, orange helicopter lucky coat.
I put there's a great character moment with the drawing. I liked that.
Oh yeah,
giving Anthony the drawing.
I kind of like how he did. He never ticked it if he liked it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He never ticks the box, which I found very funny. So I've got one note here. I've got two notes I'll read out beforehand, and then I'll go back to this note because it sums up my general thoughts on the film. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the ending first, but I'll put this maid isn't good at crying. There's a maid when he dies.
The holy man. I forgot what she says.
She's just sat like this, like just rubbing her hands on her face.
Oh, we're thinking
to make it look like she's crying.
We're thinking of the wrong one. It's the when the new pope is led dead, and she goes, "Oh no, the Holy Spirit is dead," or whatever she says. I can't.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was on about the one, when the other mob boss guy dies.
Oh yeah.
And then Michael's getting told, and there's just a maid stood in the background, kind of rubbing her hands on her face up and down to make it look like she's crying.
What about that dude that got stabbed with his glasses?
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, I wrote. We've been over this, but I wrote Vincent Corleone doesn't feel earned at all.
Yeah. He's Vincenzo now, Robbie. God sake.
Vincenzo. I'll go back to my other point in a minute. Mm-hmm. I just want to talk about the ending first, which I didn't make any notes on specifically because I just want to talk about it.
Yes.
What is it? Why he just kind of falls over on a chair?
I hate it.
That's how he goes out. I've been following this dude for a full trilogy, of him going deeper and deeper into the criminal world.
Like over
and
9.
He dies because he just collapses on a chair.
Like over 9 hours of this guy.
Yeah, and he just sits on a chair and just goes.
Yeah.
And it's not even like he sits on the chair and he closes his eyes and he goes peacefully. He flops off it, like fully just face plants like an idiot.
Yeah, then two dogs.
He looks like such a tit when he dies.
2 dogs are like, oh well.
Yeah, they just walk on. It's like, anyway.
Because thought, it's like, Michael died. Michael is now, he died with no one around him. It's like, what? That wasn't the point of this film. That was the point of part 2, and you ended it. And the ending solidified that fine. We could perfectly understand, when it ended with Michael looking a bit older and, just sat, by a lake, just alone. That summed it up fine. We didn't need that. And again, my whole point, the point of the part 3 wasn't Michael's losing more people. If anything, Michael's had more people in his life than he ever has had.
He's got a lot of mates.
He's got some mates. Kay's forgiven him.
For some reason.
He's out of the business. He's probably going to enjoy some I don't know. He might. I don't know what he's gonna do. He might like. He might open the olive oil business again. I don't know.
Yeah,
you know,
like his son's angry with him for 5 minutes, but that's over and kind of forgotten about.
Yeah, he's on good terms with his children. I mean, Mary's been like, you won't let me fuck Vinny, but that's about it really.
That's weird. Yeah,
but it's like maybe you should look into getting Mary into a mental institute if she keeps insisting she wants to have sex with her cousin.
Yeah,
but everything. He's fine. And then it's like, and then he's all alone in his life. It's like, yeah, we got that.
Yeah. Realistically, you didn't need the third one.
No.
I think the ending of the second is ambiguous enough that you can make up your own mind as to how it all ended.
Well,
all you know is that he's alone, and then the last shot is him sat alone as an old man next to a lake.
Yeah.
It's enough. You can piece together stuff from that. You don't need a full movie about incest and KKK for some reason and other things.
The Vatican.
A donkey man. The Vatican.
But yeah, it's like, because, Mike, because it's such like a thing of like, Mary's dead. Oh, show some footage from the previous films. Oh, and now show Michael die. There's no connection. It's like, it's almost like, that him dying is like Francis being like, right, the series is done now. I'm no longer making any other. This is it. But it's like, because you're saying there about we didn't need part 3. We didn't, because the Godfather films aren't based off a series of books. There are a series of go away Siri. There are more books in the Godfather series.
Yeah.
But The Godfather is based off The Godfather, because I think there's another book called The Sicilian or something like that. Like, there's different books in
it.
Okay.
But
because we had The Godfather, and then Godfather Part 2 was meant to be the other bits from that book.
Okay.
Because
because it's the flashback bits.
Yeah, because everything with Michael is new in that film, but they show in the Vito bits to be like, a bit of like splicing us into it.
Yeah.
We didn't need another film, because it's not even like, we're just adapting the books, because you're not. You're just making something else up. And I think the only way they can be like, but it counts is because Mario Puzo is one of the screenwriters of the film.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, again, it's a completely useless film. I think there's no necessary need to it.
No, not at all. Nothing. But I'm just gonna go. Yeah. My last note, just to do my final thoughts on the film. This kind of sums it up quite nicely. They keep calling back to things from the other films, going, hey, remember that? And this happens really, really often in this film, which is weird. It makes the film feel kind of self-indulgent in a weird way. And it's things that I'd like to have seen, but it doesn't feel right. Like when we go to Vito's old home, it's nice to see it, but it doesn't feel right when you're there.
Yeah.
And like, it's good to see Michael again when he's older, but it doesn't feel right for some reason. There's something off about the character and it doesn't feel right. It's good to see Kay again, but again, it doesn't feel right. And that's my entire thing with this film.
Yes.
It's just that I guess it's a sequel to The Godfather Part 2, except it kind of isn't.
Exactly.
Because nothing is as it should be.
No.
It's as if sitting down to write and then going off to shoot the movie and everything, Francis completely forgot what the point of the last 2 films that he made were.
Yes.
In this trilogy. It's like he completely forgot what the story was meant to be about.
Yeah.
And just kind of went back on everything, did a complete 180 on everyone's arcs and where those characters should be, and it's so strange to me. I want to hear about the trivia, because I want to see if there's any excuses for it being as fucking weird as it is.
Okay, I'll wrap up my thoughts on the film, and then we can get to that.
Cool.
I got here, the film is nearly 3 hours of Michael being sad, Vinny being an arse, Mary being strangely horny for her first cousin, and the Vatican is involved for some reason.
Yes.
It's just Michael is sad.
Mm-hmm.
That's his thing.
That's all he does in this film.
Nothing ever feels at stake or on the line, which is
no.
That's what I think. That's what, like, earlier this morning, that was my thought. I'm like, you know what? That's why the film doesn't feel right. Nothing happens in this film, or there's nothing in this film to make me think, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Or like when stuff does happen, it doesn't feel like there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
Like, and it came to me when Vinny shot the guy that shot Mary.
Yeah.
And then it's Vinny is, and again, it's the way that, like, Andy Garcia does it. He's not doing it like, God damn it, how dare, and he's not doing it like in an anger way. He's almost smiling when he's doing it. Like, look how fucking mint I am. Bang! He like does a pose, doesn't he? As he does it. Like everything just feels like nothing in the film.
There isn't a villain in this movie as well.
No.
That's something that I realised.
I mean,
there's no villain.
I mean, Eli Wallach and Joey, but again, they're dweebs.
Yeah, they're nothing people, and they keep saying that Joey's a nothing person throughout.
Yeah, and it's
all anyone ever says about him. So why am I gonna care?
And it's also like, but also Michael doesn't seem like he gives a shit about them.
No, he doesn't.
He's like, right. Do you know what?
That's annoying.
Do you know what would have been interesting?
Yeah.
If Vinny was the villain.
Yeah, that'd have been more interesting than what we got. 100%.
If he's trying to take the Corleone family from Michael.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Like, making it like, right. So the first film, the villain is another mobster. The second film, the villain is it was another mobster as well. The FBI, wasn't it? It was like a good few things there.
It was Ham and Roth.
Yes, yeah. It was another mobster from another state. Expand it. Why not make part 3? The villain is someone in the family.
It's Sonny's kid.
Yeah, why not? Like, how interesting.
Angry about the fact that his dad didn't get it.
Yeah, how interesting would that have been? And, like, that's the reason why he's trying to, like, manipulate Mary. Not try to fuck her, manipulate her.
Yeah.
Because he...
Maybe he keeps it a secret that he's Sonny's kid and stuff, or I don't know.
Yeah, like... Like, what... Like, that would... Again, so much more interesting, I think. And...
Yeah.
I'm not even going to talk about... I mean, me saying it is like it's me leading me on to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it in great detail. Mary's death is just so nothing.
Yeah,
and it's the bit
they didn't care at all.
And the pieces of dialogue with her makes no sense. Like, Dad, why are you doing this to me? And then Michael's like, doing what? And he's just confused. And then she dies, and then she goes, Dad, and then falls, and then. People go like, oh, Pacino and Keaton saved that scene. I'm like, they felt really OTT.
Yeah, they do. Especially Pacino.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know when Vito finds out that Sonny's dead in the first one?
I'm already memeing that with... I'm telling you now, I've taken that taken that clip and I'm memeing it with Lewis and Gary.
Like it's... You know... In that first film, when Vito finds out that Sonny's dead... Heartbreaking, because he's really subtle about it, and he's trying to he's trying to stay contained and together, but you can tell that he's upset and he's holding back tears and stuff. And this Pacino goes sad for a second and then just starts going. He's just screaming.
He's more over.
What are you doing?
He's more over the top than the opera performance we saw earlier.
Yeah, exactly. It's so.
And it's the bit and it's the bit as well where everyone's going no, and then Vinny goes no.
Yeah, everyone else no, but he just nope,
no,
none of that.
And then he just looks a little bit disheveled, and he's looking at it gets to a point where everyone's looking at Michael when he's going oh, and then everyone's like, Jesus,
yeah,
they kind of no one's crying other than Michael at that point. Kay's done being an emotional wreck. She's just kind of looking, going Jesus, Michael,
yeah,
are you all right?
It's
I know our kid's just been shot, but.
Calm down, mate.
Should we it's not really about you, is it?
It's like when Vader wakes up in Revenge of the Sith.
As well.
And he put that no in like that. It's that kind of over the top cheesiness that it just ruins it completely.
And then they fade to him dancing with all of the most important women in his life, which again I think could have been really nice if it wasn't like
in a good film.
Yeah, again, like, it's that scene and when he hands the Don mantle over to Vinny. Two really well done moments that could have been fucking like chill inducing in
a good film.
Yeah. And also my final point I want to make about this. If you want a film that deals with like the Vatican or like religion in a more interesting way and has nice shots set in Italy, go over to Netflix and watch The Two Popes. That does it really nicely. And
I haven't seen that yet.
And if you want, and as I was thinking about this, if you want a film that feels more like a Godfather Part 3, go over to Netflix and watch The Irishman. It feels like the film that we kind of should have got. And I don't mean exactly the same plot, because it's completely different type of thing. But I mean in the sense of it's a long mob film that kind of is methodical, but it's modern enough to where it doesn't feel like they're just like going back from the old tropes. Why it should have been, I think if you take Michael more as a supporting character and say the film's 3.5 hours or 3 hours, how mint would it have been if Michael isn't in it for the first hour?
Cool.
And then we see Michael Corleone, and then it's like we follow Vinny or a Vinny character, and he's trying to work his way up. And it's the same setting as well. It's like the 70s, I think, or 60s, 70s, I think.
Yeah.
So it's not even like I'm like, oh, it's not the same set. I don't like the feel of it. It's like how mint would it be? Like, we just see a guy and you hear like, oh, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a part of the Corleones or whatever like that?
Yeah.
Or like it is Vinny. It's Sonny's son, but he's been estranged from the whole family since Sonny's died. He's like, I want to get back with my family, and like all his mates are kind of like, nah, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be the Don or something, or like some bollocks like that. And then and then like an hour later, or like even halfway through the film, then we see Michael.
It's a big reveal.
Yeah, or like like an hour later, we see Tom, and then like Vinny's like, oh, when can I see Uncle Mike? He's like, he's a very important man, Vinny. We should maybe you should like leave it for a while. And then it's like, oh, Michael Corleone. And then like I feel like that could have been a brilliant way. And again, I'm spoiling The Irishman right now. Imagine if like Michael's death was like Pacino's death in The Irishman, where a Vinny character had to put a hit out on Michael.
Yeah.
I feel that would have been a lot more of a poetic end to Michael's life.
Yeah.
As opposed to him falling flat on his fucking face and
like he got into that world by being the new, young, up-and-coming guy in the Corleone family that killed a higher-up mob boss. Wouldn't it be poetic if it was someone else had to do the same thing for him to take over the Corleone family?
Exactly.
At the end of the third film.
Exactly.
But no, he collapses in a chair.
Like, I feel...
Face first like an idiot.
So that's my thing. If you want a better Godfather Part 3, watch The Irishman.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our thoughts on The Godfather Part 3. If you have any thoughts on The Godfather Part 3, let us know and all that. Right, let's move on to some trivia, because there's some interesting stuff here, actually.
Oh, yes. I'm so intrigued.
Not as long as Apocalypse Now, so don't worry. But there's some interesting stuff here. Al Pacino stated that he did not agree with the portrayal of Michael in the film. He didn't believe that Michael would ever feel regret or remorse for his actions, especially the murder of his brother.
Well, it's good to know he's known as a character, doesn't it?
Yep.
Jesus, no one else did.
Al Pacino was offered $5 million, but wanted $7 million, plus a percentage of the gross to reprise his role as Michael. Francis Ford Coppola refused and threatened to rewrite the script by starting off with Michael's funeral sequence instead of the film's introduction. Pacino agreed to the $5 million offer.
Can't imagine that version. No Michael at all.
It would have been instantly more pointless.
Yeah, Straight away.
Instantly more pointless. Now here's a few things about Robert Duvall. I've got like 4 points about him in this film.
I'm really intrigued about this.
Robert Duvall turned down $1 million the studio offered to recreate his role of Tom Hagen. Duvall did not feel that his proposed salary was right with what Al Pacino and Diane Keaton were getting. Pacino getting $5 million, Keaton getting $1.5 million. The character was subsequently written out. Duvall later defended his position on the grounds that the only reason why anyone wanted to make another Godfather movie after so many years was to make money.
It's not wrong.
So he was like, he didn't do it because there's a bit more to it, but he was basically like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I wanted more money for it because why else would I do this film?
That's kind of fair though. I mean, I understand that.
There's a bit here, this next bit of trivia is actually a bit. I feel like brings a little bit more reason.
Right.
For
Okay.
Duvall.
Yeah.
Francis Ford Coppola once admitted that he was still unhappy over the final result. I know this isn't. No, the 4th point is the thing that I think is actually good for
Right. Okay.
Duvall's thing, but this is something else anyway. Coppola once admitted that he was still unhappy over the final result because of the lack of time working with the script. According to him, he wanted $6 million for the writer, producer, and director fee, with 6 months' work on the script writing. The studio instead gave him only $1 million in the fees and 6 weeks to work on the script, in order to meet the Christmas 1990 release. He also regretted that the character of Tom Hagen had to be written out of the script because the studio refused to meet Duvall's financial demands. According to Coppola, with Hagen gone, an essential character and counterpart for Michael Corleone was missing from the movie.
Yeah. Completely right. And I mean, the thing with the studio there saying, oh, we want you to do a sequel to what is generally known as one of the best films ever made. Francis Ford Coppola goes, okay, and they go, so a month and a half, all right, to write the script?
Yeah.
A sequel to one of the best films ever made, and you're going 6 weeks.
2 of them.
Yeah.
2 of the best films ever made. Exactly.
And it's like
crazy.
6 weeks.
Instead of 6 months, which is what Coppola was like, okay, just give me half a year.
Yeah.
Which I think is reasonable.
I mean, if you've waited until 1990 to do it anyway, you can wait a little bit.
Exactly.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Francis Ford Coppola felt the movie was incomplete without Tom Hagen. Yep.
Yeah, correct.
And here it is. Here's a very interesting bit of trivia involving Robert Duvall and Tom Hagen. Originally, the script was to centre around Tom and Michael. Tom was going to be an informant. When Robert Duvall got the script and realised his character was the second lead, yet the studio was offering the same amount of money as he received for the last film, around 1/9 of the money all other principals received, Duvall counter-offered through Francis Ford Coppola to Paramount Pictures. Paramount denied offering more money and told Coppola to rewrite the script without Tom. This version was the only one to feature Michael dying in a car accident at the end of the film.
Right.
So there's 2 points to that. First of all, the film was meant to be Michael and Tom.
So it was meant to be a film about those two, and Tom was an informant for, I'm guessing, the FBI at this point.
I assume so. Which, again, how cool would that be?
That would have been really, really good.
That kind of would have been a repeat of, like, Fredo.
Yeah.
In a sense. And also, it would have been a nice follow-up, because at the end of part 2, when Hagen was like, Michael, I think you're being a bit offhand here.
Yeah.
And then Michael's like, well, yeah, but I can do it, though, so shut up, Tom.
Yeah.
Or you can get your money and go off with your wife, your kids, and your widow, and your mistress.
Yeah.
Like, it would have, like, it would have helped with boil over tensions.
That's so irritating.
Yeah.
That is so irritating.
Which is fair for, like, Duvall being like, well, all right then, but can I get a bit more money then, since I'm actually going to be a lead?
Yeah, because I thought if he's got a similar kind of sized role as he had in the other two, then I can understand him being paid less than both Pacino and Keaton. However, it's the jump in price from Keaton to Robert Duvall, $500,000 is kind of understandable for a gap.
Yes.
4 million between about 4 million then between Keaton and Pacino.
Mm-hmm.
No. Like that's just that is caused by Al Pacino getting far too much money.
That probably is realistically, yes.
And that really irritates me.
But yeah, that's the reason why Tom Hagen was not in the film, because financial agreements couldn't be made.
Right.
Which from
that
a creative
really
output sucks
yeah.
really badly. A bit of fun. This is one thing I did notice. Catherine Scorsese, Martin Scorsese's mother, is one of the women who stops Vincent to complain about the poor care of the neighbourhood.
Oh, is it the one with the glasses on?
Yeah.
Oh. She's
in Goodfellas as well, isn't she? She's Pesci's mum.
Oh, yeah. That's really cute. I like that.
I like. There's a film. I think there's a short film that Scorsese did years ago called Italian America, which is on the Criterion Collection amongst a load of Scorsese short films, where Scorsese did like a mini documentary about his parents.
Right.
And it's just them kind of like bullshitting, kind of.
That's really cute.
And it's like, I think it's like 70s. Yeah, it would have been like early 70s. So it would have been younger Scorsese. And I think they talk about like, Italian immigration, stuff like that, as well as just general bullshitting.
Yeah.
But and I think there's a point where like Scorsese says to his mum, like, "Oh yeah, stop rolling," and she like continues talking, but it's exactly how she is on camera.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of like, "Ma, you're not still filming, are you?" or something like that. He goes, "Oh no, mum, no, mum."
Oh, look at that. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, she's brilliant. The first of only 2 trilogies to have all 3 films nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. The other is the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo, Lord of the Rings.
Right. This is a bit of a... Now we're delving into some Sofia Coppola trivia.
Oh, brilliant. Let's go.
This is some interesting stuff here. Starting off with a little bit of a tragic note. Rebecca Schaeffer was in the run-in to play Mary Corleone, but she was tragically murdered on the morning of her audition. Winona Ryder was later cast in the part before she was ultimately replaced by Sofia Coppola.
Do we know why Winona Ryder was replaced?
Yes, because she left the film to do Edward Scissorhands instead.
Ah, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Winona Ryder's departure of the film created a major fuss on set and in the media. Ryder did actually arrive on set to perform the part of Mary Corleone, but ultimately backed out. She arrived on set in Rome 2 days after completing work on Mermaids from 1990 in Massachusetts. But passed out immediately in her hotel room upon arrival and was eventually diagnosed with exhaustion. Following her departure of the film, several headlines were created about the exit, either claiming that she was pregnant, that she had a nervous breakdown, that drugs were involved, that her then boyfriend Johnny Depp was having an affair and making her crazy, or that Depp talked her out of doing the film so that she could appear in Edward Scissorhands.
Jesus Christ.
On set, Ryder's replacement of the untested Sofia Coppola was a divisive choice among the cast of the film, and more than one name player reportedly threatened to quit the movie. Meanwhile, Ryder, still recovering, was threatened with lawsuits from several parties, including Paramount Pictures. However, Ryder met a lot of support and empathy from the cast, including Diane Keaton and Al Pacino, who checked up on her many times through those weeks.
Oh. I mean, that's nice of him.
Yeah.
Still not good.
But yeah, that's the whole thing that happened there with Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, would she have saved the film? I don't think she could have.
No, the script itself is bad. It's not just the fact that Sofia Coppola is bad in this film.
Because I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, if it wasn't for Sofia Coppola, the film wouldn't have been this shit." I'm like, no. We still would have had the incest.
Yeah, it's still just a whack movie. Like, this is what I mean. I I genuinely went into this thinking, maybe it'll just be like, it's not any worse than the other films. Mm-hmm. It'll be like a Spider-Man 3, where it's just because the best film came before it, and it couldn't live up to it. I really like Spider-Man 3, leave me alone, right? And I was like, people will just give it flack because Sofia Coppola's really bad, like famously bad in it.
Mm-hmm.
She's like the fifth thing wrong with the movie.
That's my exact thoughts when watching the whole film, yeah.
She's not, like, she's bad, but she's like, there's so many other things that are wrong with the film before you even get to her if you're going down a list of importance.
Yes.
Like,
and realistically, she's not that massive in the film to where her herself tanks the film.
No, exactly. She's not even in it that much. Like, enough for you to hate it.
I think the character of Mary itself is quite problematic.
Yeah, it's poorly written character.
Then
I love him first. Sorry, go on.
Madonna lobbied for the role of Mary Corleone, even meeting with Francis Ford Coppola and Robert De Niro.
Why Robert De Niro?
I don't know. He was there. It was decided that she was too old for the role. She was offered the role of Grace Hamilton. That's who Bridget Fonda played.
Okay.
But she wanted too much money for such a small part.
Brilliant.
So she just was. But yeah, just
Die Another Day as Madonna.
Oh God. She was in that. She was in that film as well for a brief bit.
She was, yeah.
Yeah.
She did the music for the Sicily sequences.
Yeah, she did as well, yeah. When Winona Ryder withdrew from the film, Laura San Giacomo and Linda Fiorentino, were considered for the role of Mary Corleone, before Francis Ford Coppola decided his daughter Sophia should play the part, even rewriting the script for the part to match Sophia's age. In the original draft, the character was more than 5 years older. Sofia Coppola, only 19, expressed apprehension at playing the role, as she was only attending college at the time and had only limited experience as an actress, but nonetheless bowed to her father's request, as production was already falling behind schedule.
Brilliant.
So you can't. I mean, she didn't even really.
You can't fault her for it. It's not her fault.
No. Even during filming, Sofia Coppola was acutely aware of the battering she was getting in the press for being the director's daughter in a choice part. She found it very distracting and upsetting throughout the filming process.
Oh, I bet she speaks about that now as like being a horrible experience being in this film.
I can imagine she was 19 during all this, and not great.
No.
Not great. And again, not a trained actress.
No, it's just not her fault in any way.
No. Julia Roberts turned down the role of Mary Corleone in order to star in Pretty Woman.
Good choice, Julia Roberts. Well done.
You know what? I've never seen Pretty Woman.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Right. This might be why De Niro was there when Madonna was trying to get... Robert De Niro lobbied for the role of Vincent Mancini.
What? Did he forget he was in the second one?
Did he forget he won an Oscar for it? I continue. Francis Ford Coppola considered it, which would have included aging Pacino even more, but eventually decided against the idea. That would have been so confusing. Imagine if De Niro just walked in and then was like, wait, what?
Time travel is instantly where my mind would go.
It'd be so confusing.
Why would he...
He was doing Goodfellas at this point.
Yeah, he's doing other things.
It's not like he was down in his luck. He's like, oh, you know what? I guess I should do this. He was like, still Robert De Niro.
He only had to wait 24 years and he'd be doing Dirty Grandpa and getting all the money.
God damn it. This is one bit of trivia that I only read the first line of, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting, so I'll wait to just read it all now. Al Pacino and Diane Keaton had dated on and off for several years after making the first film together, ultimately breaking up for good when Keaton wanted a serious long-term relationship and Pacino didn't. This led to some friction when they first arrived on the set. Like their characters, they were able to get past the issues in their past. In real life, however, it involved Keaton travelling back to New York City with Pacino for the funeral of his grandmother who had died during production.
Aww.
I like that. Oh, I like the film. They still got on. But I don't know if Pacino beat the shit out of Diane Keaton in real life.
Exactly, yeah.
So, which, I mean, I guess that lends to, like, why I felt those moments were kind of sweet.
Yeah, I guess.
But again, if, Michael wasn't such an awful human being, maybe,
yeah. And, like, she aborted his son and stuff without telling him, and it was not a good relationship.
Yeah, it kind of didn't end. It wasn't just a simple, oh, I don't like your job. It's like, well, get out then. All right, then. It wasn't quite like that. It was I had the fetus of your son fucking aborted, Michael, because I don't want another one of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. We had that anyway. Right. When Andy Garcia filmed his fight scene, which in my opinion, which one? There's many. When Andy Garcia filmed his fight scene, he insisted on beating the stuntman with a real pistol instead of a prop pistol. This resulted in the stuntman suffering a cut that required stitches. Andy, why? What was the point?
You dickhead, mate.
What was the point?
This is what happens, right? Every week we do this show, right? And every week we have the trivia section. And every single week, there's me just thinking more and more actors are pricks. Because it's constantly just, this guy did this on set. Isn't that kooky and fun? No, he's a prick, mate. What's he doing?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I want to hit him with a real pistol. Why? Because look at it, it's real. Like,
yeah.
Right, but this is
also,
fake.
It's mean.
This is fake. Yeah,
Stop being mean, Andy.
Just don't do it. Because of the popularity of the two earlier Godfather movies, Frank Sinatra reversed his anti-Godfather stance.
Yes.
And expressed interest in playing the role that Eli Wallach played.
Oh my God, I'd have given good money to see that.
He lost interest because of the size of the paycheck for the role wasn't good enough.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he lost interest because he found out that Joey Santino was coming back.
Yeah.
And he was angry about it all over again. It just started the feud again.
Oh, God.
Just Frank Sinatra caught in a time loop.
Oh, when he shouted at Mario Puzo in a restaurant. I was like,
yeah. Jesus Christ.
God damn you! Francis Ford Coppola was interested in Michael Corleone pay for his sins in the third chapter. Then why didn't he?
Yeah, then why didn't he? Why did he just collapse on a chair? Why was he chuffed about himself for the entire thing?
Was he even was he even holding an orange?
No, I don't think so.
You couldn't have even done that, Francis. Out of all the things.
It would be so easy.
According to Peter Biskin's book, The Godfather Companion, a 1985 script co-written by Thomas Lee Wright and Nick Marino, included a character based on drug lord Leroy Nicky Barnes. When the script was briefly considered, Wright persuaded Eddie Murphy to take the role. Murphy reportedly said, "I would act in The Godfather for nothing." I'm glad that didn't happen.
I would be so up for seeing Eddie Murphy in The Godfather. I genuinely love Eddie Murphy.
What's up, Don Vito?
What's up, Don Michael? So funny.
How you doing?
Just fucking hell. And there's Oscar's impression of the week as well.
Yeah,
we often have one.
I always say to myself, I'm never doing them, and then it just
and
happens.
then you do it every time without fail.
Did I do one of? Yeah, I probably did a Brando impression last week.
Yeah, you did a Brando.
I don't think did I do any for the conversation. I don't think I did. I might have done. I don't know.
Maybe.
There was no one really to impersonate. Oh no, I did a John Cazale impersonation. That's what happened.
There we go. God, we love John Cazale.
Tune into next week when I continue doing Pacino impressions.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to happen.
When are we getting to the Pacino kind of days? When will that happen?
I mean, I think we're skipping over them. I don't think
Thank Christ.
We'll probably get into them maybe next year if we do Scarface, but we'll see.
Sweet.
The opening shots of the Corleone compound were originally filmed for The Godfather Part II, but were deleted from the final film. They were first used in the opening credits in The Godfather Saga, the TV miniseries that came out in 1977. So yeah,
you can tell because the camera quality is different, and I noticed it straight away.
Yes, yeah. There's that good Technicolor.
Yeah, and then it swaps out again for weird 90s stuff that still kind of looks bad.
Yeah. Talia Shire based her makeup and character thrust on Gloria Swanson's performance as Norma Desmond in Billy Wilder's Sunset Boulevard, which makes sense.
Yeah.
You've seen Sunset Boulevard?
I haven't.
I would love to do a Billy Wilder thing, because I love Billy Wilder.
Yeah.
Love some Billy Wilder. And I know we have two conflicting opinions on Some Like It Hot.
Yeah,
so
we do.
That would be a fun episode.
I have conflicting views on that film with my girlfriend. She really likes it.
Oh, she likes Some Like It Hot
It's like one of her favourite films, as is it one of her mum's as well. Sorry to the collies, I don't like it.
Because it's really good. Right, here we go. Actors competing for the role of Vincent Marcini, according to Francis Ford Coppola, included Alec Baldwin. Apparently, he was the first choice.
Really weird.
Nicolas Cage.
Even weirder. Don't like it. Stop.
I would have wanted that. That would be my choice. Tom Cruise.
Terrible.
Matt Dillon. Val Kilmer.
No.
Charlie Sheen.
No. These get progressively worse. What's happening?
Vincent Spano. I don't know who that is.
Don't know who that is.
And Billy Zane.
No.
I would have wanted Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I'd love that alternate universe, you know.
And it would have. You know what? Keep it in the family. He's Francis's nephew. Maybe he thought, oh, we can't do that because then I'll actually be having my nephew and my daughter pretending to fuck.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Oh, here's a good idea. Have Nick Cage in the film, but don't have that subplot.
Yeah.
Saying.
It's a shout.
Just saying. Or just, keep Andy Garcia. Just don't have that scene. I'll take that to my grave. I'll take that until I'm like on a chair and I fall on my face in a random place eating an orange when I'm like 80 or something.
Like an idiot.
Yeah. I'll take that. My last words would be like the incest storyline still was shit in Godfather 3, and then I die. That would be my last.
You collapse face first in front of two dogs,
who I somehow owned,
and they're like, "Huh?" And then you walk off.
That'll be the end of my life, just like the end of Michael Corleone's life. My only daughter would get a bullet through the chest, and I'll just scream, but I keep screaming for
way too long.
For way too long. That's a good point. If you were to die like any of the Godfather characters, which character's death would you want to happen to you?
Probably Fredo. Quicker.
Yeah.
And also less traumatizing for people around me. I would have said Vito, but that fucked up Anthony pretty bad.
Yeah, that probably wasn't good. I'll take Sonny's death because I'll burn out in a.
Yeah, fair. Go out in a blaze of glory sort of thing.
Blaze of glory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'll do. Francis Ford Coppola made the film in part to address the financial problems that his Zoetrope Studios had incurred as a result of the commercial failure of One from the Heart from 1981. Another reason was that Paramount Pictures had agreed to cover the majority of the budget of Coppola's previous movie, Tucker, The Man and His Dream, from 1988, and they really wanted him to make The Godfather Part III. So even Coppola was like, I need the money.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do it then.
Jesus Christ. That's upsetting.
Joe Mantegna, yes. Who played Joey, also also voices the character Fat Tony in The Simpsons.
Wee.
The Simpsons Mo Baby Blues from 2003 has Fat Tony crying, "I haven't cried this much since I paid to see Godfather 3," in addition to other references to the franchise.
That's excellent. That is really good.
Speaking of Joey, Mickey Rourke was a candidate for Joey Zaza.
That's not a bad shout.
But was deemed not Italian enough. Dennis Farina and John Turturro were also considered. Sylvester Stallone was offered the role but passed on it.
No, not Stallone. I could see John Turturro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now listen, Francis, I don't want to do that. I've got to do Rocky 5. There's another impression.
Was that a good? That was good. That was a great Pacino.
What's better, my Stallone or Brando? Everyone decide. In the comments below.
You're Adrian.
I like how my impressions are just noises. Like I do Brando and I go, and then I do like Stallone and I go, like it's not.
It's spot on.
I can't do any words. I just do like grunts. This is why I'm not an actor. The M38 Carcano carbine used at the opera by Mosca for his failed assassination attempt is a variant of the same rifle that was used in the assassination of President Kennedy.
Cool.
A little bit of interesting stuff there.
That's fun.
In a March 2010 interview, Andy Garcia revealed that Francis Ford Coppola had informally planned a fourth Godfather film. Much like The Godfather Part II, the film would follow a parallel narrative in different eras, with one story focusing on Garcia's character Vincent leading the family into the modern era, and the other story following the youth of Vincent's father, Sonny, with Leonardo DiCaprio tipped as Coppola's first choice for the role. Coppola, along with Mario Puzo, began working on the story, though Puzo's death cut short the development. Coppola didn't wish to continue without Puzo's involvement, so the project was abandoned. Paramount Pictures, however, has considered proceeding with a fourth film without Puzo or even Coppola's involvement, possibly based on the Godfather novels by Mike Wingardner, though as of now, no official plans for the fourth film exist.
Don't do that.
Let's unpackage a few of these things first and foremost. I don't think we needed to see a younger Sonny because it's not like he was massively old when he did die.
He was about 25.
What would he have done? He would have just done a few jobs.
Are we seeing like a kid? Like his dad as the Don and stuff?
So this would have been 90s DiCaprio, so this would have been like late teens, early 20s.
So then are you gonna get De Niro back to be Vito again?
It would be so confusing.
To be his dad? It's like, why? Why do we need that? We didn't even need a third one.
That would have been kind of like a weird. That would have been kind of, like how it's like we have like Alden Ehrenreich as a young Solo. It's like, but he's kind of like, he's not massively older than Harrison Ford anyway.
Yeah, because that film goes quite swiftly into A New Hope, like near enough.
Yeah, so what would it have been? Would it have just been a film swiftly that would have went right to the wedding?
Yeah,
something? That's all that would have. And again, I don't think Sonny really did anything that interesting.
No, he served his purpose in the first film, but he's not a character that you're like. Yeah, he needs his story fleshing out.
Yeah, like it's like I get a young Vito because it's like, oh, we're seeing him growing up, we're seeing him form the Corleone crime family.
Yeah.
Sonny didn't do anything else other than I don't get it. What would we have like seen him like introduce Carlo to, like, would that have been like, would we had a really awkward recreation of that scene in Godfather 2? And plus, I love DiCaprio. He would have just been, I think he would have just been doing a James Caan impression.
And I don't think that fits either.
DiCaprio would work even better as just a if they didn't do it at this point, a younger Vito,
Yeah, probably.
like
Yeah.
facially, but they did that, so we didn't need it.
Yeah, like if they started doing the Godfather series like mid-90s, and they needed someone to play Michael,
Yeah.
then yeah, but it doesn't fit the Sonny character being this really like angry, out there dude. That's not really a character that DiCaprio usually plays. I know that he can do a lot of different things. I know like. I mean,
I
the
guess
closest would be Wolf of Wall Street, I guess. That he's come to that.
I was just about to say that the closest is Wolf of Wall Street,
But
I
even
think,
then, he's not.
but that's
Sonny.
that's him older as well. That's an older DiCaprio.
Yeah, and he's not exactly like gruff and like a guy that you'd be scared of.
No.
In that
not
he's just
really.
kind of a slimy business dude, but
Yeah.
no, it doesn't fit for me. That's weird.
And also-
don't do it.
And it also sounds like they were gonna do it until Puzo died, which is
Yeah,
like, imagine if he didn't though, and that's what we got.
yeah, don't, yeah. Don't
Imagine,
do that.
imagine me watching a whole fucking film with Vinny as the main character.
You'd be so fuming.
Couldn't do it. I probably wouldn't see it. I mean, I would have seen it, but
Yeah,
a part 4, nah.
no,
Just don't do it.
Don't need it.
I'm fine with more mob films with that style, but we don't need a continuation.
Yeah,
No.
and just a side note here for all those of you that are higher ups at whatever studio produces Back to the Future. I know you're waiting for Robert Zemeckis to die to do another one. Don't do it anyway. I'm just gonna don't touch it, please, because Robert Zemeckis is all like they're not gonna do another Back to the Future until I die.
So you
So they're waiting it out. Don't
like-
do it.
So mate, Universal's gonna outlive you.
Yeah, no one wants that Robert Downey Jr. Tom Holland Back to the Future movie. Nobody wants it. Stop it.
Nah.
Sorry, continue.
According to Francis, I know this was different, right? According to Francis Ford Coppola, the original script had a different ending in which Michael and Kay reconcile together after the opera sequence. It dissolves to a church service sequence in which a gunman guns down Michael before getting shot, and it ends with Michael lying to Kay for the last time before he dies. Coppola decided against that and opted for the ending in which, with the gunman element from the original ending retained. The ending, which was filmed, was inspired by a real-life incident in which sound designer Richard Beggs lost his daughter to that similar circumstance.
Oh wow.
But taking that horribly tragic thing out of that,
That ending doesn't really make much of a difference to how I'd feel anyway.
yeah, I really wouldn't care if Michael got killed, if Mary got killed. That moment there just didn't match.
It still doesn't mean anything as just a gunman that we only met about 20 minutes ago killing a character that you're supposed to care about.
Yep.
It doesn't really make a difference if it was that or not.
Nope. Right, last two bits of trivia.
Uh-huh.
Writer-director Francis Ford Coppola lobbied intensely for the film to be called The Death of Michael Corleone rather than The Godfather Part III. But in the end was overruled by the studio. However, when the film was released on DVD, the penultimate chapter was called The Death of Michael Corleone.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, I'm not.
Why would you want a trilogy, Francis, that goes The Godfather Part II, The Death of Michael Corleone? Why?
I can understand it in the sense of him making it not a third part in a story, making it the end of a story.
Yeah, I guess.
But I also would have preferred if it was The Godfather and then a subtitle.
Yeah, The Godfather Part III, The Death of Michael Corleone.
Or
But then it'd be weird because none of the other ones have got subtitles anyway.
I know, but I don't know, the film was shit anyway. So.
It doesn't make a difference. It's still shit.
Right. This is the last bit of trivia, which is a nice bit of trivia, I think.
Go on then.
When Michael and his daughter Mary pick up Kay, Mary turns around to take a picture of her parents facing the camera and says, "Hey Dad, smile," meaning, of course, Michael. However, behind the camera is Francis Ford Coppola, the director who is the father of actress Sofia Coppola playing Mary. So it's
Oh.
I think that's a nice little sweet thought.
Yeah, that is quite nice.
And I just kind of want to end that bit there. As much as Sofia Coppola wasn't good in the role, or the film was one big cash grab. You could look at it in the sense of like, it's kind of one big nice bonding experience almost with Francis and Sophia. And again, that one scene, that one moment there in context again, hey dad, smile. I like to think like behind the camera, that's the one moment where Francis actually smiles.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, so that's trivia. And on a little bit of a nice note for The Godfather Part 3. Now, Letterboxd reviews.
Yes.
This is the first time I think we're going to agree with most of it as well.
Probably, yeah.
Do you know what would be interesting? Actually, right, I'll read a load of negative ones.
We made a couple of positive ones.
And then should I look through some 5-star reviews for this film?
Yeah.
Because
there
it
are a
would
couple
exist.
of those, yeah.
Right, let's do some negative first. 0.5 star. A meritless, self-indulgent, festering turd of a film. No offence.
I mean, offence taken.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
And then another one which is all Italian. I'm not going to do it.
Do it.
It's a paragraph of Italian. I can read Al Pacino. That's all I can see. And Michael Corleone. That's all I can see. Another one. Apocalypse Now fried Coppola's brain. It's the only explanation.
That's great. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a solid one, that is. This film is the Crystal Skull of the Godfather series, and like Crystal Skull, I don't consider it canon to the series. I don't blame Francis or Pacino for this atrocity, but the blame resides on the studio. That is completely fair.
Preach it, sister.
Yep.
That's what I'd say.
Pay Robert Duvall whatever he asks. Spend some more time on the script, and this could have been great. As it is, it relies on parts 1 and 2 to work, and it barely does. Today I learned that this film exists and is bad.
Poor dude.
Oh, that's sad.
I hope you're okay. My heart goes out to you.
Why did I watch this movie? Better yet, why did they even make this? 20 years later. It's stupid. There's nothing redeeming about it. Coppola's daughter is physically painful to watch. I think it's safe to say she's a terrible actor. Flat, no emotion. I laughed when she died. That's how bad it is. I mean, I don't know about physically painful, but...
Yeah, it's not physically painful. I mean, cringe-inducing maybe, but not...
Yeah. He's your first cousin. No, I love him first.
Stop. Get real close in on the microphone.
I did as well.
So I love him first. That was horrendous. I could hear that in my own earphones. I'm so sorry to anyone who had to go through that. I can just see the waveform of it as well. Jesus Christ.
It was just vibrations in the microphone. That's all that was. Imagine if that's what they did. Like Michael goes like, "He's your first cousin," and then literally they just put the boom mic like
right in her mouth.
You know that like bit where on top of when Nirvana are singing "Smells Like Teen Spirit" on top of the pops, and like Kurt Cobain just deep the fucking microphone. It's just like that. Like in the overdub section, it's like, right, Sophia, just say this line. Can I go now? Yeah, sure, Sophia.
Yes, go
on. This next bit is a bit of a paragraph. This is a very good comedy movie and a very bad end to the Godfather trilogy. If you want a movie to watch, to drink to, and make fun of, put this in the rotation. Somewhere between Godfather 2 and 3, Pacino went from serious actor to cartoon Pacino. If this wasn't almost 3 hours long, I could almost excuse it. But being in the rare position of having watched all 3 Godfather movies in a marathon without breaks, I can safely say I don't care if Coppola directed this and it looks nice. It is still a terrible movie. You'll have an absolute blast laughing and drinking if you want to make fun of this with friends. See the scene with a helicopter that Gatling gun massacres a room of old men while one says, "Oh, my lucky coat," or the subplot of first cousins in love, for examples. But as actual cinema, this is very, very bad. Was that me?
That was excellent.
Did I write
Review
that?
of the week. Well done, sir. That was brilliant.
I mean, you got it right there. If you do want to absolutely laugh, especially the fucking My Lucky Coat.
Oh God, My Lucky Coat. The donkey guy as well. Great.
Do the
Excellent.
donkey.
Do the donkey. It's just that's like, what's he doing?
And then like, there's no explanation for it. It just happens.
No. No context.
And again, yeah, the subplot where there's literal first cousins and love.
Yeah.
Love, you know. Yeah.
Excellent.
One of the worst films I have ever seen. Completely unnecessary in every sense of the word. Performances are awful. Pacino is toned down to a dull roar. None of the new cast can pull through. And then there is Sofia Coppola. Sophia's character and performance are some of the worst I have ever seen. Plot is incoherent, and what is able to be made out is horrendously executed. The incest plot line is one of, if not my overall least favourite plot lines ever in a film. Completely heartless and soulless. Ended is confused and not motivated at all. That's yeah. Writing and plot are god awful. The best parts of this movie, Connie and the one break in the scene that wasn't even written by Puzo or Coppola, are gone too quickly. Although I have tried my best, I cannot put my hatred for this film into words. Doesn't work as a film, let alone a Godfather sequel. Drags the pristine Godfather name through the mud. Horrendous. I don't know if I would say Connie was ever a highlight.
No, Connie wasn't really.
No. But yeah, I like that. Like, the ending was confused. You're right, actually. It goes from, oh, Mary's dead. Michael's sad. Remember the other films. Michael's dead.
Oh, okay.
And then it ends. And then, like, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. It's like, I bet he wouldn't.
To an extent.
Yeah. If I could rate this a 0, I would.
That was a good one.
And then the final negative review. This was disgusting. The Corleone family deserves so much better. The world deserves so much better than this trash. I feel like that person was giving their whole life to the film.
Yeah. Was he a member of the Corleone family?
This was disgusting. The Corleone family deserved much better. It's like, all right. Excuse me.
Just calm it down, lad.
Right.
It's like it's a true story about his uncle.
Yeah,
He's getting angry about it.
Right. Let's go to some 5-star reviews because I'm so curious.
Oh god, yeah, let's do it.
These all don't look that good either. Anyway, let's have a look. Right, I might have to a lot of these are foreign.
Brilliant.
Most of these are foreign. One of them is 5 stars. The amusing one.
This man, I guarantee, is on my side for Spider-Man 3. 100%.
What's this person's favourite films? Of pure curiosity.
Godfather Part 3.
Godfather Part 2, actually.
That's alright.
Some actual decent films. Godfather Part 2, The Seventh Seal, Before Sunset, and Drive. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, alright, we'll give you that one.
Right. 5 stars. In order to protect the ones you love, you end up losing the ones you love.
Cute.
Jesus. Okay. 5 stars. DILF, the sequel.
What? Excuse me?
DILF, the sequel.
That... I mean... Yeah. That's a good one. In terms of the Letterboxd films that we've had.
Right, okay. This is the last one that I can read because everything else is in foreign. 5 stars. I can't put into words how much this movie affected me. The fact that Michael has done all kinds of morally twisted acts in order to protect his family, and in the end he ended up losing their loves is so ironic. Realizing how he never got the happy ending he always fought for is a punch in the gut. I started watching The Godfather with 0 expectations, thinking it was just some dude bro movie with sexist roles and excessive murder scenes. Now it has become one of the best character studies I've seen in my life. The Hunger Games will have to pardon me, but The Godfather is definitely the best trilogy of all time.
Are they talking about the second one?
they should only be talking about the second one.
And accidentally leaving it as a review on the third because, I mean, but they're still saying he fought really hard for his family, which is what Pacino says in the film, but he didn't ever.
No, never did. Never did.
In any of these movies.
God, yeah.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, there's some positive Letterboxd, a mixture, negative and positive. Because I knew fine well if we just read negative, we would have just been like, yeah,
agree.
Yeah. But reading someone who apparently loves the film, but it just sounds like everything they love about that film, Part 2 did infinitely better.
Yeah, good on you though for enjoying yourself.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? That's
all power to you.
Any film that I don't like that someone else loves, good on you. I'm glad you found something you like out of it. Like I didn't want to hate The Godfather Part 3. I didn't want to not like it.
I just do.
I also find it like I'm clearly literally the only person who dislikes Vinny.
I like Vinny a lot. I liked his character.
Yeah, fair. I'm not going to argue you about it.
Or are you? No, I'm joking. We're already ways into this podcast.
All I'm going to say is like the line, I had many girlfriends at 15, even 8-year-olds, especially 8-year-olds. He couldn't redeem it for me. That's the moment where he couldn't redeem himself.
Yeah, I'm not glorifying paedophilia. I'm just saying.
I mean, Robbie was 15. Is it technically
pedophilia? All right.
I'm not even, I was going to do it. Is it technically pedophilia if he's a kid as well?
Still weird, all right? It's still weird.
I mean, if I had a mate who was 15, if I was 15 and had a mate who was also 15 who was hooking up with an 8-year-old, I might have to pull him aside and have some words with him. If I'm being perfectly honest with it.
It's questionable, is what I'd say.
So maybe try to at least get with someone who's in secondary school.
Yeah, maybe just don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what's your plan? You get to 18 in 3 years' time and she's 11.
Fuck's sake.
Where did this go? Right, I never expected to go into The Godfather Part 3, ending the discussion on our Francis Ford Coppola series, ending it with random KKK.
Yeah.
Why incest shouldn't be a plot point in a film.
Oh, Christ.
And pedophilia.
And lucky coats and donkey men.
You know what? That's why I want to remember The Godfather Part 3 for. Lucky coats and donkey men.
There you go.
That should be the subtitle. Godfather Part 3. My lucky coat and donkey.
Yes. It's all... Oh. This has gone out like the X-Men franchise, this...
Oh, it did
this Francis Ford Coppola series.
It kind of... I mean...
Just gone out with a wet fart of a film.
I was strongly considering a few weeks ago, because my plan was going to be, just do 70s Coppola. But then I thought... But we already talked about the first two Godfathers, so we
might as well do the last one.
Right. So yeah, and that's that. Which brings us to the wrap up of this episode, which also means that I can say, next week, let's bring it back to some 70s Pacino.
Yeah, boy.
And we'll go with the 1973 film Serpico, which is directed by Sidney Lumet. A different director than Francis Ford Coppola. We're not just a Francis Ford Coppola podcast.
We do other things.
It's early, leave us alone. This is only the 5th episode.
We see other people. There's a lot.
And neither of them are first cousins.
All right.
All right. God damn it. But yeah, Serpico, we're going to be going into some 70s Pacino. I mean, this would be my 3rd time seeing Serpico. And also, once again, Robbie's first.
My first.
We'll get to a point where I'm seeing a film for the first time that you've already seen.
Yeah. Someday.
But yeah, it's just not next week. So,
it's coming up, though. I'm really excited for it.
So go and check out... watch Serpico. If you're in the UK, I think it's on Now TV. Go to the Instagram, which brings me to that. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We're more so active on Instagram than we are on Twitter on The Intermission. That's at The Intermission Podcast. Again, as I've said earlier in this episode, I'll be posting a video of selected clips of while I was watching The Godfather Part 3. So again, if you want to see me just kind of,
losing your mind.
Like late at night watching The Godfather Part 3.
Yeah.
Go and see that. I loved your story that you posted last night as well. Of just like you went, I can already tell this is going to be a good episode. Of Eli Wallach just not at all like, just kind of like pathetically singing.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Putting zero heart into it.
Brilliant. I love it. So there you go. Yep. Follow the Instagram and Twitter account. Also want to remind people, check the description below for my auntie's hypnotherapy and crafts business. Crystal chips and paper, links in the description. Give it a check out if you want to look through any of that. Go and watch Serpico next week. Or don't even listen to this. So yeah. But
yeah,
please
fuck
do.
you. I don't know.
Please do.
Please.
You know one thing I realised, Robbie? I've got a system for the introduction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never good at outroductions.
Outroductions.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I do have to say I did indeed love last week's outro.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do, yeah.
Come on, what?
I could just do it again.
What are we on now?
2 hours 41.
Oh, we best end this.
Yeah.
See you.
Bye.
And that's it.
Sweet. Oh, Christ. Right, I'm stopping recording. Boom. Is it? No, it's not stopped. Stop recording!